Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Naruto. God-level development system at the beginning. Chapter 21. Haha, now that you've finished introducing me, let me tell you about myself as a teacher. My name is Jiraiya, you all know this. What do I like? Women. Women with big breasts and big butts, peeping, like peeping at women's bathhouses. Before Jiraiya could say anything, Minato on the side began to reveal without hesitation. Baga. I'm collecting materials, you little brat, understands Minato. Being exposed in front of his students, Jiraiya suddenly felt that he couldn't hold back his face, and couldn't help but growl at Minato. Minato picked his ear with his little finger, then blew on the earwax that didn't exist on his little finger, and whistled along the way. His attitude was so bad that Jiraiya almost beat him up. Seeing this, Jiraiya covered his heart with his face, and thought in his heart, I'm not angry, this kid is deliberately angry with me. If I get angry, it's not because of this kid's way. Although what this kid said is wrong, it's about the same. As for the annoying thing, it's as personal as this guy, that idiot Orochimaru. Saying Orochimaru, Jiraiya gritted his teeth a bit. I know, I heard that Mr. Jiraiya used to be a crane tail, and Orochimaru is a genius, so you were often taught by Uncle Hokage. Namikaze Minato, the shortcut master, went online again. After hearing this, Jiraiya's veins bulged, and he tried his best to maintain the appearance of a kind teacher, but the corners of his eyes twitched from time to time represented how hard he endured. PFF'd. Uchiha Makoto on the side couldn't help laughing. She felt that the days to come would not be too lonely. The leading teacher and his disciples are so loving. As for the cold moonlight Changfeng, there was a hint of envy in his eyes. Being able to talk to Master Jiraiya like this means that the master-student relationship between them must be very good. My dream is to travel around the world and write my own novel. Jiraiya finally finished introducing herself. I know, isn't it just a little book? It's a job with no future, and it will teach children badly. Thinking of how his disciple Kakashi would enjoy the little beauty book every day, Minato's face twitched. Baga, if I don't teach you a lesson today, you little fool, you are going to fight me to the end, right? Let's see. Jiraiya roared and rushed towards Minato. I'll be waiting for you at Hokage's office to take the first mission of Jiraiya's class. Minato completely ignored the rushing Jiraiya, waved at them, and disappeared in a flash of golden light. After lifting the bar, what are you doing if you don't run away? Let the rushing Jiraiya go to the air, and then fell to the dog to eat shit. Ha 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 ha. Seeing this, Uchiha Makoto squatted down covering his belly and began to laugh wildly, even showing a smile with his paralyzed face. You tease the teacher like this. Jiraiya felt that she had lost face today, especially in front of the new students. Let's go to pick up the task. After Jiraiya finished speaking, she took Uchiha Makoto and Moonlight Changfeng to Hokage's office. When they came, Minato complained, it's so slow, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Minato, who Jiraiya ignored directly, ran over to Sarutobi Hiruzen to pick up the quest. There is an investigation mission here, which is tentatively rated as B level. A group of bandits are robbing merchants in the Land of Fire, which has caused dissatisfaction among the merchants. You just take them to have a look. Sarutobi Hiruzen said, handing over a give the task list to Jiraiya. Originally, Minato couldn't perform such an advanced task just after graduation, so it would be nice to have a C-level task. However, considering that Jiraiya is leading the team, and Minato's strength is already very strong, and his teammates are also good, so this task was entrusted to them. Jiraiya took the task list and looked at it, and thought it was alright, just let Minato experience the task and see the blood. I'll give you 2 hours to prepare, and I'll see you at Konoha Gate in 2 hours. Jiraiya told Uchiha Makoto and Moonlight Changfeng. Yes, the two of them exited Hokage's office after they finished speaking. They were still discerning and knew that Jiraiya and Master Hokage must have something to discuss, otherwise they wouldn't just ask them to prepare. Minato, how did that chakra ball ninjutsu that you unleashed yesterday come into being? See Uchiha Makoto after they left. Sarutobi Hiruzen asked impatiently. It was hard for him to bear it all day. Are you talking about Rasengan? It's very simple. I created my own Muji. Minato raised his right hand as he spoke, and a blue chakra sphere was instantly formed in Minato's hand, not even a second in between. Is it really Muji? It seems that I underestimated you, and even created Muji by myself. Sarutobi Hiruzen suppressed the shock in his heart and muttered to himself. Hey, Minato, give me this ninjutsu when you are free. Jiraiya said shamelessly, without the slightest awareness of being a teacher, and even asked his apprentice for ninjutsu. Jiraiya, I really don't know what to say about you. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head helplessly upon seeing this. After knowing Minato's Muji, Sarutobi Hiruzen has no intention of learning. He just wanted to confirm the conjecture in his heart and satisfy his curiosity. How can this be Muji ninjutsu? Jiraiya and Minato walked out of Hokage's office, and Minato told Jiraiya the principle of Rasengan while walking. By the way, he talked about the 3 steps of practicing Rasengan. After hearing this, Jiraiya felt like a treasure, and hurried to buy balloons. And Minato came to the ninja school. After Minato graduated, the boring Kushina came to class. As soon as Kushina saw Minato, she skipped class directly, regardless of the teacher's drawn face. Aren't you going to perform a mission today? Why did you come to school? Kushina asked in surprise. I took a B-level mission, and I have 2 hours to prepare. I'm afraid I won't be able to go back to the village for a few days, so I want to meet you before I leave, so I want to come and see you. Minato hugged Kushina and said. Wow, my family, Minato, is amazing. He accepted B-level missions just after graduation. Kushina said proudly after hearing this. He has heard of some genin who just graduated or performing D-level and C-level tasks. If you're bored at school, talk to Nine Tails more. This fox is a proud fox. You can talk to him if you have anything to do. Whether he returns to you or not, just tell him. This is a non-solution method that Minato came up with. Let Kushina and Nine Tails establish a good relationship first. Maybe after Kushina's persistent stalking, Nine Tails, a proud fox, can be changed. As the mother of the Mouth Escape King, I hope that Kushina's Mouth Escape can have half the power. Will it really work? Can Nine Tails and I be friends? Kushina was skeptical about Minato's proposal, but because it was Minato, she would try it even if it didn't work. I don't know either, but let's try, there is no Minato loss anyway. Minato scratched his head, a little unsure, but still hoped that Kushina would try. Kushina nodded, just leaning in Minato's arms, enjoying the time together. The next meeting is only a few days away, which is a bit uncomfortable for Kushina. They have been together every day for this year, and have never parted. It's been a few days apart all of a sudden, it really feels like years. Time always passed quickly, and I didn't feel how long I was staying, but 2 hours was almost up, and Minato had to leave Kushina and go to Konoha Gate to gather. Hey, Minato, why don't you prepare anything? When Jiraiya saw Minato, he found that he didn't have any knives on him, not even a knives bag. To me, knives are useless. There is nothing that can't be solved by one ninjutsu. If there are, then 100 more. Minato said casually, as if 100 ninjutsu could be thrown around casually for him same. The 3 of Jiraiya rolled their eyes when they heard it. It's really arrogant. You have to throw out chakra for 100 ninjutsu. Minato coughed in embarrassment. The cowhide was a bit overblown, although his current chakra has increased greatly, but 100 ninjutsu is still a bit difficult. Of course it is a high-level ninjutsu, those low-level 100 are still okay. Let's go. Those bandits are not close to here, and the journey will take a lot of time. Jiraiya interrupted Minato's bragging, urging to hurry on the road. Along the way, Minato kept looking around, saying that the greening in this world is really good. There are trees everywhere. But it is also the country of fire, like the yellow sand everywhere in the country of wind, and the rocks everywhere in the country of earth, which cannot be compared with the country of fire at all. However, the country of fire can have today's trees, which is probably inseparable from the efforts of Dazuzi, doing greenery everywhere. Uchiha Makoto and Moonlight Changfeng are not as curious as Minato. They have also done many tasks and have seen the world outside the village early. A group of 4 people drove for 2 days before arriving at the place mentioned in the task list, but now those bandits must be hiding somewhere, so we need to find them slowly. After finding a cave nearby, Jiraiya began to arrange tasks. Now we split up into 2 ways to find the traces of those ninjas, with a time limit of 2 hours. No matter whether we find them or not, we will return to the cave to report our findings. In the cave, Jiraiya began to assign tasks. Considering the strength, he arranged Uchiha Makoto and Minato in a group, and he himself led Moonlight Changfeng in a group. Let's go now, remember the time. Jiraiya gave Minato a wink after speaking. Minato nodded calmly, and then glanced at a place. Jiraiya looked around, and there was a Flying Thunder God technique spell there. After seeing the spell, Jiraiya nodded in relief. With the Flying Thunder God technique, he didn't have to worry about Minato's comfort. Then the four separated in twos, and started looking for the bandits one by one. In the forest, the two figures stopped from time to time to check for possible traces around them. They are Uchiha Makoto and Minato. I didn't find anything here, Makoto said to Minato after checking for 4 weeks. I didn't find it either, so let's keep looking. After Minato finished speaking, he and Uchiha Makoto looked around again. An hour had passed since they left the cave, but searched around to no avail. This made Minato think, it seems that the other party is not a simple person, otherwise ordinary bandits would not clean up the traces so cleanly. So could it be that people from other countries came here and pretended to be bandits, and then carried out ulterior motives? Minato made a wild guess. This is not impossible. Now is the time of war, some countries cannot keep up with supplies, it is very possible to come to the country of fire to fight the autumn wind, and in order not to attract Konoha's attention, they only rob those merchants. But I also blame them for being too frequent. After the number of times increased, someone finally issued a task to Konoha. If this continues, there is no need to make money. Some people even lost the second batch of goods. Thinking of this, Minato decided to wait 2 hours to discuss with Jiraiya. After searching for a while, there was still no Minato clue. Minato took Uchiha Makoto back to the cave, and after a while Jiraiya and the others also came. We didn't get anything, what about you? Seeing Jiraiya, Minato immediately reported the results of the investigation. We didn't either. It's strange, could it be that the location on the task list was added, or that these bandits have already escaped? Jiraiya said doubtfully. Mr. Jiraiya, maybe the situation is not what we think. The information on the task list may be wrong. Those people are not ordinary bandits, but ninjas from other countries. Minato told Jiraiya his guess. Oh, after what you said, I found out that we have indeed entered a dead end. I only searched based on the information provided on the mission list. I didn't think that the person who issued the mission might not understand the situation at all. Jiraiya suddenly realized, it was a bit embarrassing, such a simple question was only told to him by his apprentice, and he found out the abnormality. Let's take a break first, eat something to replenish our physical and mental strength, and then we will go to those inaccessible places to search. Minato continued to propose. Jiraiya looked at Minato with admiration. Although it was the first mission, the arrangements were well organized. In the future, he must be a powerful ninja who can stand on his own. The three of Jiraiya and the others were just about to take out the military food pills and dry food to eat, but found that Minato was not prepared at all. Haha, tell you not to prepare, boy, there is nothing to eat now, do you want me to give you some? Jiraiya chuckled, and finally caught Minato's embarrassment to be ridiculed. God knows that he was ridiculed by this disciple recently. How miserable. No need, I have something to eat. Minato curled his lips, he didn't care at all. If you have the ability, don't beg me later, old pervert. Minato, I have a lot of dry food here, let me give you some. The still gentle Uchiha Makoto didn't say much, and directly slapped Jiraiya in the face with practical actions. Thank you, it's not like some lecherous toad, but also the master. Minato took the dry food handed over by Uchiha Makoto, and started to eat. TCH, it's not just me who didn't give it to you, didn't Changfeng give it to you either? Jiraiya pointed at Moonlight Changfeng unconvinced. Moonlight Changfeng silently ate dry food without speaking, he himself suffered from facial paralysis. Whoosh! With a flash of golden light, a figure appeared beside Minato, which turned out to be his shadow clone. It's just that his shadow clone is holding a freshly roasted roast chicken. Boom! After taking the roast chicken, Minato disarms shadow clone. Here, thank you for the dry food just now. Minato tore off a chicken leg and handed it to Uchiha Makoto. Thank you Minato. Who wants to eat dry food when they have roast chicken, and it doesn't matter where it came from? Then Minato tore off Vice Admiral's other chicken leg under Jiraiya's expectant gaze, and put it in his mouth. Jiraiya was dumbfounded when he saw it. The fool's chicken legs were not for himself. What are you looking at? Eat your dry food. Facing Jiraiya's gaze, Minato snapped fiercely, and then took a bite of the chicken leg. Jiraiya exploded immediately. This kid is too hateful, he must be taught a good lesson. Where did you get the roast chicken from? Do you know that you can't cook for this kind of mission, otherwise what will you do if the enemy finds out? Jiraiya taught Minato righteously. Just looking at the grilled chicken in Minato's hand from time to time, revealing his true thoughts. Don't worry, my shadow clone baked it in a very far away place, and then sent it over with the Flying Thunder God technique. Minato waved his hand and said nonchalantly. Jiraiya's face twitched after hearing Minato's words. What you said made sense, I was speechless. The Flying Thunder God technique was actually used by Minato in a new way. If you can't get along with it and open a takeaway to visit, it will definitely be delivered as soon as possible. Seeing Jiraiya's appearance, Minato didn't care about him, took off the chicken butt and threw it to Jiraiya. Is the wind coming up a bit? Minato asked. Thank you. Yu Gong Changfeng's cold face eased slightly. Seeing this, Minato didn't say much, just tore it off and threw it over. Soon all four of them ate, and then rested for a while to replenish their strength. Still according to the grouping just now, this time try to search for a more hidden place. Remember not to rush up alone after you find the enemy, retreat first and gather together before attacking. If you can't retreat, remember to send a signal. Before leaving, Jiraiya ordered again carefully. Minato and Uchiha Makoto set out again. This time they went to the inaccessible places, and some places that are not easy for ordinary people to reach. This time they came to a cliff again. Stop, wait. At this moment, Minato stopped Uchiha Makoto, who was about to continue the search. Because he found a trap, which is more than ninja trap. What's the matter? Seeing the situation, Uchiha Makoto hurriedly and cautiously approached Minato and asked. Minato didn't speak, but pointed to the trap. It took Uchiha Makoto a few times to find the trap Minato was referring to. Immediately startled, Minato had already pointed out such a hidden trap, and it took him a long time to find it, which shows the depth of the hidden trap. But on the other hand, it also represents Minato's keen observation ability. Such a hidden trap was discovered while running. Wait here for me, I'll check the situation. If it's our target, we'll go back and find teacher Jiraiya later. Minato whispered in Uchiha Makoto's ear, and at the same time, he left a spell of Flying Thunder God technique under his body. Yeah, Uchiha Makoto replied, suppressing the tickle in his ear. It wasn't until Minato left that he breathed a sigh of relief. If Minato was still there, he would definitely find that Uchiha Makoto's face was completely red at this time. Touching her ears, Uchiha Makoto remembered the ripples just now, and her heart was beating wildly. It was because the way of getting along just now was too ambiguous, and her ears were very sensitive. Suppressing the shyness in his heart, Uchiha Makoto looked around carefully. Minato had no idea how much trouble his unintentional action had caused Uchiha Makoto. Good guy, these people are definitely not ordinary ninjas, they are definitely ninjas from the 5 great nations. Looking at the various traps along the way, Minato was a little frightened. If another person came over, the trap must have been triggered and let those people know. Carefully came to the entrance of a cave, and found that there were at least 6 to 7 people there, and they looked like they were not low in strength, which was exactly the goal of their trip. Seeing that he found these guys, Minato cautiously returned towards the long distance. He didn't dare to use the Flying Thunder God technique, for fear of using chakra to let the people inside find out. How is that the group of people? Seeing Minato back, Uchiha Makoto tried his best to act like nothing happened. Well, it's those people. Let's go back immediately, find teacher Jiraiya, and take them all together. Minato nodded, and returned to the cave with Uchiha Makoto, waiting for Jiraiya's return. What's wrong with you? Since coming back, Minato couldn't help asking, noticing that Uchiha Makoto had been embarrassed. No, it's nothing. Uchiha Makoto stammered. He couldn't tell him that because of his own embarrassment just now, it was difficult to face being alone in the cave now, and seeing Minato's appearance, he knew that he had no intentions just now. Oh, remember to tell me what's going on, so we can solve it together. Minato scratched his head helplessly. It's really hard to guess what the girl is thinking. She was fine just now, but now she is acting coy. After 2 hours together, Jiraiya and the others came back on time. Lustful toad, we found each other's traces, there are 6 to 7 people. As soon as they met, Minato reported his discovery. Jiraiya, who was originally annoyed because of nothing, immediately regained her spirits and let Minato start leading the way. After more than 10 minutes, they came to the hiding place of the bandits. Follow me, they have set a lot of traps outside. Once, Minato easily took Jiraiya and others to the entrance of the cave. Let's hear what plans they have now. Anyway, it's the turtle in the urn, it doesn't matter when they are caught. Jiraiya gestured, and the others nodded upon seeing this. Start to pick up your ears to the conversations of those inside. Brother, when will we retreat? We have already grabbed enough supplies in the land of fire. A voice came from the cave, and Jiraiya and others outside pricked up their ears to listen carefully. If we grab the last vote, we will withdraw from the land of fire and return to the land of thunder. Another voice sounded immediately, which made Jiraiya and others' eyes shine. This group of people turned out to be from the land of thunder. In this way, the probability that the other party is Cloud Shinobi Village is as high as 90%. Recently, there are very few caravans passing by here, and they must be too scared to come here. The younger brother said angrily. Then wait for another 3 days. If there is no caravan, then we will withdraw. After pondering for a while, the eldest brother made the final decision. Yes, I listened to my brother. Everyone else nodded, and then there was silence inside. Minato gestured to Jiraiya whether he wanted to attack. Jiraiya nodded, then put up 3 fingers, and then turned into 2. When it became 1, Jiraiya waved his hand, and the 3 of Minato rushed inside. Don't move, squat down and cover your head. Minato shouted as soon as he entered, and the others looked at Minato blankly, not understanding what he meant. Sorry, I went to the wrong set. Fire style, fire out. Minato smiled awkwardly. He was too nervous and made a mistake. He said all the lines about catching thieves in his previous life, but his hands were not satisfied. Taking advantage of everyone's stupefaction, he spit out raging fire from his mouth and surrounded the entire cave. Whoosh whoosh. When the raging fire burned the entire cave, both Jiraiya and the ninjas from the land of thunder all escaped from the cave. Boom boom boom. Ah! The 3 of Jiraiya and the others just retreated to the door and stopped, while the people from the land of thunder rushed out without stopping, causing them to trigger the trap themselves. Piles of detonating talismans exploded, and a weak Chunin was immediately covered in blood and lying on the ground rolling around, obviously seriously injured. This made the ninja from the land of thunder who wanted to escape suddenly stop. Minato also rushed out of the cave at this time, and Jiraiya and the others surrounded each other. Minato pointed out all those pitfalls before, as long as you are careful you will be fine. Ninjas of the land of thunder, do you belong to the daimyo of the land of thunder, or Cloud Shinobi Village, or some family ninjas? Jiraiya looked at the 6 people in front of him and asked in a deep voice. As for the one who fell to the ground and howled, he didn't care. I didn't expect the people from Konoha to rush over so soon. I wanted to do another vote. The leader of the Ninja of Thunder said in a deep voice, but his tone was not flustered. There were only 4 people on the other side. And judging by his age, he should have just graduated this year, because Minato obviously looks like a ninja in his early 10s, and the other 2 older ones are probably not talented enough, so they graduated with this kid. It has to be said that the combination of Minato and the others really gave the enemy wrong information, making them mistakenly think that they are genin who just graduated. It also made them miss the chance to escape. Ah, I remembered, you are Elite Jonin Ichiro Watanabe from Cloud Shinobi Village. Suddenly Jiraiya slapped his head, and it sounded that the leader had met somewhere. As the Elite Jonin of Cloud Shinobi Village, Konoha still has information about him. No wonder he felt familiar from the beginning, it turned out to be someone from Cloud Shinobi Village. You are Jiraiya, Konoha 3rd Hokage's apprentice, so can you make way for me? Watanabe Ichiro obviously also recognized Jiraiya. As an elite Jonin, they are all the top fighters in each village, and basically every village has information on the opponent's senior fighters. Do you think it's possible? You robbed so many things in the land of fire, and you're planning to bring them back to Cloud Shinobi Village. I didn't expect you to fight so hard with Rock Shinobi Village. Jiraiya felt that he got a great piece of information. Cloud Shinobi needs so many supplies, and Cloud Shinobi Village's feud is Rock Shinobi Village, so it is estimated that it will go to war with Rock Shinobi Village. Then let's rely on strength. I still have 6 people on my side. Can you newly graduated guys survive in their hands? Watanabe Ichiro showed a cruel smile, and he was going to kill all Konoha's ninjas. Then let's try it. Facing Watanabe Ichiro, Jiraiya is not afraid at all. His strength is already above elite Jonin, but he has not yet reached the level of cage level. It can be said that he is half a step of cage level. Quasi-cage level existence. An elite Jonin isn't his match at all, it's his confidence. As for the others, he believes that his students, Makoto and Changfeng both have the strength of elite Chunin, and Minato can even defeat special Jonin. As long as he persists for a while and waits for him to deal with Ichiro Watanabe, the balance of victory will be on their side. Tilt. The 3 of you form a swastika line, and I will do the rest. Jiraiya said something to the 3 of Minato, and then rushed to Ichiro Watanabe. The 3 of Minato heard that and immediately backed up to prevent the ninja's sneak attack. Haha, Jiraiya, do you think the 3 newly graduated genin can defeat my men? They have 1 Jonin, 1 elite Chunin and 3 Chunin, guess your students will last for a few breaths. Ichiro Watanabe laughed wildly, even exposing his own strength, but he didn't care at all, his side had an absolute advantage. Hearing this, Jiraiya breathed a sigh of relief. It turned out that with such strength, then there was nothing to be afraid of. He also felt relieved to fight Watanabe Ichiro. After Minato heard what Ichiro Watanabe said, he began to think in his heart. He decided to take the initiative to attack a person. As long as he killed that elite Chunin, the pressure on their side would be greatly reduced. When he singles out Jonin, Uchiha Makoto and Moonlight Changfeng will have no difficulty facing the remaining 3. The new ability he got a few days ago finally came into use. This is the skill that the system rewards him after his spiritual power development reaches 60%. The system checks the level on the opposite side. Name: Saburo Watanabe. Age: 29. Ninjutsu: Lightning Style. Comprehensive Strength: Jonin, Name: Passerby A. Age: 25. Ninjutsu: Lightning Style. Comprehensive Strength: Elite Chunin. That's right, what the system rewards is a skill called Eye of Insight, which can detect the strength of others. It has been useless before, and now it just comes in handy. After determining who elite Chunin is, Minato no longer continues to investigate, and then only needs to kill him by surprise. Minato then began to ponder, thinking about countermeasures, how to achieve a one-hit kill. After much deliberation, it is to use the Flying Thunder God technique with Rasengan's surprise attack, but at present, there is no second stage of Flying Thunder God, which is very passive. We can only increase the space development as soon as possible, and strive to unlock the second stage of Flying Thunder God as soon as possible. Minato thought for a long time, a light flashed in his mind. He remembered that since he could not engrave the Flying Thunder God spell on kunai, he used the second stage of Flying Thunder God. Then let a shadow clone run over, engrave the Flying Thunder God formula on the ground near the elite Chunin, and then carry out a sneak attack. Shadow Clone Technique. Minato immediately split out 4 shadow clone, and rushed to those ninjas. 3 shadow clones were used as bait, and the remaining shadow clone ran towards the elite Chunin. Bang bang bang. The 3 shadow clone that were used as bait were wiped out one by that Jonin, but Minato didn't care and smiled instead. Because his real purpose has been achieved, the last shadow clone touched the ground with his hands before being wiped out, leaving behind the Flying Thunder God spell. With a heartbeat, Minato disappeared in place, and then appeared next to that elite Chunin in an instant. Rasengan. Under that elite Chunin's bewildered gaze, Rasengan hit him head-on in the heart. The powerful cutting power of the wind attribute shattered the heart of this elite Chunin at once. Wow! As the heart shattered, elite Chunin spit out a mouthful of blood, and stared at Namikaze Minato with wide eyes, never thinking that he would die like this. How did he come here? Why did he not have any warning? Elite Chunin fell down slowly with deep reluctance. He didn't close his eyes until he died. After a one-hit kill, Minato quickly retreated and came to the side of Uchiha Makoto and Moonlight Changfeng. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing an elite Chunin, a random reward of 2% of the development of the sealing technique. Let me deal with that Jonin, and the remaining 3 Chunins will be handed over to you too. With the strength of your elite Chunins, there should be no problem. Minato pointed at Saburo Watanabe and said, ignoring the system's prompt. Although it is not as good as you, if you can't even solve these 3 people, you are not qualified to be your teammate. Yu Gong Changfeng said confidently. Then without waiting for Minato to continue talking about Minato, he greeted Uchiha Makoto and rushed towards the 3 Chunin. Minato smiled slightly when he saw this, and then turned to Jonin with a serious face. If he knows the second stage of Flying Thunder God now, with his strength, he will definitely not take this Jonin seriously. Unfortunately, he can't now, so he can only fight recklessly with ninjutsu. The opponent is a lightning-style ninja, wind-style can just restrain him, and the Rasengan of A-level ninjutsu is also powerful enough. As long as you can seize the opportunity, you can win with a one-hit kill. However, the method of the sudden appearance of the Flying Thunder God has been exposed just now. Saburo Watanabe will definitely take precautions, and now he can only slowly create opportunities. Boy, you're so bold that you dare to stop me by yourself. It's only fun for a young genius like you to kill me. Killing you will definitely make Konoha feel bad for a long time. Saburo Watanabe looked at Minato and showed a ferocious smile. It was this fool who killed his fellow villager in front of his face. I will never let you go. The battle started, and Minato and the others met their opponents. Lightning-style chakra mode. Saburo Watanabe is wearing a blue chakra all over his body, and there are still lightning flashes on the surface of the chakra from time to time. This is the secretary of Cloud Shinobi Village, which can be learned by the general Jonin level, but it needs enough talent and perseverance to develop him to ultimate. At present, the strongest lightning-style chakra mode in Cloud Shinobi Village is 3rd Raikage. However, although the lightning-style chakra mode is powerful, it also consumes a lot, but in order to quickly solve Minato, Saburo Watanabe can't control so much. Wind-style, whirlwind fist. Minato took a deep breath, condensed the wind attribute chakra on his hands, and then turned into an invisible wind fist and rushed towards Saburo Watanabe. Don't show your shame in front of me with this kind of flimsy tricks, watch the trick. Saburo Watanabe in lightning-style chakra mode is like a human-shaped missile. He doesn't care about the whirlwind fist at all. He doesn't have any fancy moves when he rushes up. He simply punches and wipes the whirlwind fist in the air. But the slightly trembling hands also showed that the real air was not as indifferent as he said. After all, it is AB-level ninjutsu, and he is just a Jonin, who has not mastered the lightning-style chakra mode yet. Saburo Watanabe did not stop after defeating whirlwind boxing, and continued to rush towards Minato. Die, brat. Saburo Watanabe was very fast, rushing in front of Minato almost in the blink of an eye. This is the speed surge caused by stimulating cells under his lightning-style chakra mode. Fortunately, Minato was well prepared and got a body flicker technique early to avoid it. You kid is not bad, the body flicker technique is quite skillful, but how many times have you been able to dodge it? Saburo Watanabe was a little surprised that Minato was able to escape, but he didn't care, and continued to charge forward. But when he turned his head, Minato, who used the body flicker technique to distance himself, made the seal again. Fire style, fire out. A straight flame spurted out from Minato's mouth, and after a few meters, the flame began to disperse and surround Saburo Watanabe as if consciously. It's such a powerful fire style, and the range is so large. I can't resist it this time. The whirlwind fist just now was a little bit reluctant. Saburo Watanabe changed his direction while thinking about it, avoiding the frontal impact of the fire. Seeing that Haohuo Miekyu's attack had failed, Minato immediately stopped and continued to output. His hands did not stop, and quickly formed a seal again. Lightning style, Fury Thunder Tiger. The huge lightning style chakra began to leak out, and a blue thunder tiger formed around Minato. With the continuous use of skills, the speed of gathering the thunder tiger became faster and faster. Haha, boy, our Cloud Shinobi is an expert in playing lightning style. You still want to compete with me in lightning style? You are 100 years too early. Let me teach you how to use lightning style. Seeing that the kid opposite turned out to be using lightning style, Saburo Watanabe showed a contemptuous smile. What's the use of talking about it? I'll teach you how to be a man with this strike of lightning style. Even if you are a little weaker than the opponent, Minato's momentum is still strong. Speaking of controlling Thunder Tiger to run towards Saburo Watanabe, the scene suddenly turned into a humanoid missile and the Blue Thunder Tiger moved quickly and collided with each other. Facing lightning-style Saburo Watanabe did not intend to hide. This is dignity. If they lose in playing lightning style, where will they put the face of Cloud Shinobi Village? Heavy storm. At the moment when they were about to collide, Saburo Watanabe shouted loudly, concentrated a large amount of lightning-style chakra in his hand, and then collided with the tiger head of the Blue Thunder Tiger. Boom! A shocking explosion rang through the area, and a large amount of black smoke was born, attracting the attention of other personnel on both sides. Minato-kun. Uchiha Makoto looked worriedly at the place where he took out the explosion. A woman is a woman. If you dare to be distracted while fighting, remember to be careful in your next life. And that brat is probably dead too. If you dare to fight Master Watanabe. At the moment Uchiha Makoto was distracted, one of the three Chunin saw the opportunity to dialysis her. Oops. Uchiha Makoto was startled and careless. Dance of the Crescent Moon. Just when Uchiha Makoto panicked, the sound of moonlight and wind came from a distance, and then three figures emerged to kill the sneak-attacking Chunin with one blow. Ah! A miserable cry came out from the mouth of this sneak-attacking Chunin. The moonlight and long wind hit his vitals, and he would not live long. The only one to blame was that he was only focused on the sneak attack and didn't pay attention to the movements in other places. Moonlight Changfeng came to Uchiha Makoto and comforted him. Trust Minato, he is a super genius of our Konoha, he can even defeat the special Jonin, don't forget, he still has some tricks to use. Thinking of the blue chakra ball on Minato's graduation assessment, Uchiha Makoto felt relieved. Mr. Changfeng, let's quickly get rid of these two people and help Minato-kun. Ah, that's exactly what I meant. After one person is eliminated, the remaining two will be easy. Yugong Changfeng's cold face became serious. Uchiha Makoto also opened her two-hook Jade Sharingan, and it seemed to be going all out. Let's talk about Minato's side. When the smoke cleared, Saburo Watanabe was in a stalemate with Minato's Thunder Tiger. Neither of them had any plans to take chakra away. Little ghost, how many chakras can you have at your age? Fight me hard, I think you are tired of life. Saburo Watanabe laughed. He really is a kid, so naive. Minato was silent when he heard the words, and his heart was already full of joy. You can compete with chakra, you can compete with me, and Laozi's sage body is free. As time passed bit by bit, Saburo Watanabe's originally confident and relaxed face gradually became dignified, and then became unbelievable. How is it possible, after such a long period of chakra output, this kid has nothing to do? How can this kid have such a huge chakra? Who is he? Saburo Watanabe panicked at this moment. The continuous input of chakra to maintain heavy flow and lightning-style chakra mode has already consumed a lot of chakra. If the stalemate continues, his chakra will probably be exhausted. No, I can't hold on any longer, otherwise I'll be a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Saburo Watanabe felt a slap in the face, then dispersed the heavy flow, and avoided to the side. The Blue Thunder Tiger, which lost the resistance of the heavy current, roared forward, and did not stop until more than 10 meters later, and finally the entire Blue Thunder Tiger dissipated into the air. Checking the chakra in the body, I feel that the consumption is not too much. Minato doesn't care, it is more blue than me, it is simply too long. Who? Saburo Watanabe covered his shoulders and panted heavily. Although he evaded very fast just now, he still rubbed against his shoulders. To preserve chakra, he also turns off lightning-style chakra mode. The stalemate just now had consumed too much of his chakra, and he could no longer drive the lightning-style chakra mode unscrupulously. Originally playing steadily, he could still suppress Minato, but because he was too confident, he even competed with Minato for chakra consumption. As a result, the originally good situation turned into a headwind in an instant. Don't take it lightly until the last moment of the battle. This is what my teacher told me. Your biggest mistake is to compare chakra with me. Sorry, mine is chakra. Minato looked at Saburo Watanabe with a mocking smile. Saburo Watanabe doesn't understand what is called chakra, but he knows that this kid's chakra is really amazing, so he can't help feeling jealous. No matter how big this little devil is, there are so many chakras that can be used casually. We must not let this kid go back alive. Otherwise, within a few years, this kid will become an extremely troublesome figure. Boy, what your teacher said is right. Don't take it lightly until the last moment, but now is not the last moment. Saburo Watanabe's eyes flashed, and he thought of a countermeasure. This kid must be very inflated now, so he used this to show his weakness, and then launched a fatal blow. Little devil, you won this time, but you won't be so lucky next time. Saburo Watanabe said while retreating, apparently planning to escape. Seeing this, Minato hurriedly chased after him, but he didn't expect the development speed of his hand to run away. Little devil, you are too young. How can I say that I am also a Jonin? I really thought I was planning to escape. You were fooled. When Minato was about to approach Saburo Watanabe showed a sinister smile that had succeeded in his plot. However, he didn't know that the direction he retreated was the place where Minato used the shadow clone to engrave the Flying Thunder God spell just now. Maybe it was a coincidence, or it was destined to be so. No, I fell for it. This period of time has been so smooth, it's a bit drifting, and it may not be like this in the future. Minato guessed Saburo Watanabe's thoughts at once. Go to hell, kid, don't take it lightly until the last moment, I will return this sentence to you intact. Watanabe Saburo turned on the lightning-style chakra mode again. Heavy storm. Saburo Watanabe came to Minato in the blink of an eye, and swung the lightning-style chakra fiercely at him. At this time, Minato finally noticed his Flying Thunder God technique, and couldn't help showing a sneer at Saburo Watanabe. Saburo Watanabe looked at Minato's sneer and suddenly panicked for no reason. What's going on? The other party should be unable to turn the tables under such circumstances, but what's the matter with the anxiety in his heart? Shua! With a flash of golden light, Minato disappeared in front of Saburo Watanabe. This made Saburo Watanabe's pupils shrink, and he finally remembered that the elite Chunin on his side was killed by a sneak attack when the opponent was not expecting it. But when he realized it was too late, because Minato had already come behind him, and Saburo Watanabe's feet happened to be the Flying Thunder God spell left by Minato just now. Rasengan. With a loud shout, Minato slammed the Rasengan in his hand on Saburo Watanabe's back. Boom! The power of A-level ninjutsu broke through the defense of Saburo Watanabe's lightning-style chakra mode, and the powerful Rasengan began to wreak havoc on his back. When Minato pinned Saburo Watanabe to the ground, there was a huge commotion. I saw that the ground where Saburo Watanabe was lying was sunken to a depth of nearly half a meter, and a deep pit with a radius of 5 seconds was officially formed, which shows the power of this move. This is still superficial. At this time, Saburo Watanabe's internal organs have been seriously damaged. If it wasn't for the powerful lightning-style chakra mode to resist part of the damage, he would have been killed by one blow. Saburo Watanabe has completely lost his combat effectiveness, and it is already a fortune teller if he is not dead. Ding! Congratulations to host for defeating Jonin and gaining 15% of lightning-style development. Ding! Congratulations, the development of host lightning style has reached 80%. Ding! Congratulations to host for obtaining the A-level lightning style ninjutsu, Chidori. Got another A-level ninjutsu, Minato thought happily. His hard work was not in vain. As for Chidori's need for Sharingan, it didn't matter to Minato at all. The increase in mental development and the Flying Thunder God technique's absolutely superb reflexes allow Minato to use Chidori without hindrance. Minato walked to Saburo Watanabe, thought about using the sealing technique to seal his chakra, and then separated a shadow clone to watch him, lest he commit suicide. The value of a living person is much more valuable than a dead person. And he took a fancy to the other party's lightning-style chakra mode, and asked if he could also get it and practice it by himself. This is much better than 8 inner gates, without harming the body. But it is much better than the first few gates. If 8 inner gates opens the 8th gate, it is really a lightning-style chakra mode. But Minato doesn't care. A strong body is also fundamental, so he is determined to obtain the cultivation method of lightning-style chakra mode. Besides, if lightning-style chakra mode cooperates with Chidori, it is also a big killer. Just catch him and bring him back to Konoha. When the time comes to let the Yamanaka clan take action, Konoha will have a way to get this guy's lightning-style chakra mode. Well, of course, just in case, I still want to capture that elite Chunin Ichiro Watanabe, because I am afraid that Saburo Watanabe's lightning-style chakra mode is not complete enough. Yo, I didn't expect you to be the first to defeat the enemy, Minato. As a teacher, I really want to know your strength now, and even Jonin was defeated by you. When Minato was thinking about lightning-style chakra, Jiraiya came to Minato with the half-dead Ichiro Watanabe on his shoulders. Boom! Jiraiya casually threw Ichiro Watanabe on the ground, and Minato hurriedly stepped forward to check, and was overjoyed when he found that there was no danger of his life. Still use the sealing technique to seal the opponent, and when the time comes, go back to the village to let someone investigate the information. It's not that I'm too strong, I just have the strength of a special Jonin now, but I guess I can reach Jonin soon, and this guy lost to me, it's completely careless and his luck is too bad. Minato told Jiraiya some details of the battle, and the fateful coincidence of Rasengan at the end. Then this Jonin's luck is too bad. If it wasn't for his position just above your Flying Thunder God technique, he wouldn't be able to be dealt with by you in one blow, but luck is also a kind of strength. Jiraiya laughed out loud. No matter what, his disciple had already defeated Jonin, and that was enough to brag about. As Jiraiya chatted with Minato, Uchiha Makoto and Moonlight Changfeng also defeated their opponents and came in front of them. Not bad, very good. The first mission of Class Jiraiya has been successfully completed, and it is not the original B-level task, but the most difficult task of A-level, which is almost as good as S-level. Jiraiya gave a thumbs up to her 3 students. Although Uchiha Makoto and Moonlight Changfeng are not his disciples but just students, Jiraiya is also very happy. It was Jiraiya-sensei and Minato who held back the most powerful people, and we were able to defeat these 3 Chunins. Uchiha Makoto said modestly. Moonlight Changfeng also nodded. This is a fact, there is no way to refute it. Okay, let's go back to the village and ask the old man to pay you for the A-level mission. Jiraiya checked everyone and returned to the village with the surviving Cloud Shinobi village ninjas. Of the 7 Cloud Shinobi ninjas, only 3 survived, Ichiro Watanabe, Saburo Watanabe and a Chunin. Of course, Jiraiya didn't even let go of the corpse, and directly stored the corpse with a storage scroll. After all, a lot of information can be found out about the corpse. Minato and Jiraiya split Shadow Clone, the 3 or more ninjas who watch over them, lest they have 3 changes. Because of 3 burdens, they walked for 4 days before returning to the village. Jiraiya and the others went straight to Hokage's office to report on this mission, especially Minato, who asked Sarutobi Hiruzen to help him set up the lightning-style chakra cultivation mode. Uncle Hokage, there's something wrong with your information. It's a good thing we accepted this mission, otherwise you would really treat it as a B-level mission, and the people you sent probably wouldn't be able to come back. As soon as he walked into Hokage's office, Minato yelled loudly that he was doing this to wait for the negotiation and give himself the upper hand. What's going on? Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned and looked at Jiraiya suspiciously. In this mission, the ninjas from Cloud Shinobi Village appeared, and it was an elite Jonin and a team of 7 people led by Jonin. Jiraiya explained in detail what happened in this mission. After hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but feel rejoicing. Fortunately, Jiraiya and the others were sent there, otherwise sending other people there might really wipe out the whole army. Where are the living Cloud Shinobi? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked. Below, I'm watching with Minato's shadow clone, Jiraiya said. Uncle Hokage, I have a request. When the time comes, let the intelligence inspectors torture me for the lightning-style chakra mode. I need him. Minato quickly put forward the idea in his heart. Although it can be elementalized in the future, the physical body also needs to be exercised. No problem, just treat it as a reward for the incorrect level of this mission. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded without hesitation, and then turned to look at Uchiha Makoto and Moonlight Changfeng. What compensation do you 2 need? Sarutobi Hiruzen does a good job of not favoring one over the other. I need powerful sword skills. Yugong Changfeng was very direct, expressing his thoughts. After Uchiha Makoto thought for a while, he wanted a fire-style ninjutsu. As a member of the Uchiha clan, he still prefers fire-style. After hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen readily agreed, and handed over the Fire Dragon Flame Bullet to Uchiha Makoto, and then found a powerful sword technique to Moonlight Changfeng. Minato, after torture your lightning-style chakra mode, I will let Jiraiya give it to you. Sarutobi Hiruzen finally promised Minato. After Minato nodded, he couldn't wait to leave. he missed Kushina a bit. This guy probably went to meet Kushina. Really, he knows how to pick up girls at such a young age. Jiraiya said sourly. As an adult in his 20s, he doesn't even like girls, and as a result, all of his disciples have girlfriends, which is simply too embarrassing. Uchiha Makoto was startled when she heard this, and felt sad for no reason, which made her very strange. After leaving the Hokage office, Minato went straight to the ninja school. It was still early and Kushina was supposed to be in school. Uzumaki Kushina vs Senju Nawaki. When Minato came to the school, he accidentally discovered that Kushina's class was conducting practical exercises, and Nawaki was actually in Kushina's class. But after thinking about it, he was relieved. As the young master of the Senju clan, it was a trivial matter for him to transfer a class. Minato came to a tree, did not make a sound, but was ready to watch the excitement. Well, the excitement of Kushina beating Nawaki fatly. Kushina has practiced with him for so long, and he also drives the Shadow Clone plug-in to practice every day, so don't improve too fast. Nawaki is definitely not an opponent. Sure enough, as soon as the battle between the two began, Nawaki fell into a disadvantage and was chased and beaten by Kushina all the time. This was because Kushina didn't use his strange power. Otherwise, the entire school field would be torn apart by Kushina. Stop, I admit defeat, stop fighting. After Nawaki swelled into a pig's face, he finally surrendered, not because he was not tough, but because his strength did not allow it. Kushina sighed regretfully when he heard the words. Another sandbag was gone. Minato missed him the past few days after he left, and he still misses him. In order to divert his attention, Kushina beat up the students who had bullied him before, and the name of the blood red pepper was better than before, which made others hide away. Except for the Ino Shika Cho trio and Nawaki, no one dared to approach him, but Nawaki was also stubborn, knowing that he would not be able to fight, and he would try his best every time, until his nose was bruised and his face was swollen and painful. As the young master of the Senju clan, he has to work hard, otherwise how can he be worthy of the name of the Senju clan? Uzumaki Kushina wins. Tamaki Shenyu announced immediately after seeing the end of the battle between the two. Next, Naruto vs Actor XX. In the ensuing battle, Minato was not interested in observing, and threw a small stone in Kushina's direction to attract her attention. Who dares to throw stones at me? Kushina was just about to beat him up when he saw Minato waving at her smilingly from the tree. Kushina's original rage calmed down all of a sudden, and instead of asking Tamaki Shenyu for leave, she skipped class and ran away with Minato. Naruto Jusheng. Next is Yamanaka. Hey, where did Kushina go? Tamaki Shenyu, who was about to announce the opponent, found that Kushina was gone, and asked aloud. Teacher Shenyu, Kushina just skipped class. One of the little kids who had been bullied by Kushina told the news with excitement. Skipping class. So Minato is back, right? Tamaki Shenyu guessed the truth at once, and only Minato could make Kushina skip class without hesitation. Seeing that Yumu Shenyu didn't blame Kushina for skipping class at all, the little brat who made the whistleblower immediately went limp. Walking with Kushina on the bustling street, listening to Kushina's chattering about how much she misses these days, Minato's heart is full of emotion. But there will be no less differences in the future, but you will get used to it after a long time. This is the fate of ninjas. Hey, Minato, tell me about your mission this time. After Kushina finished talking about what happened to her in the past few days, she immediately asked about Minato's mission. Minato didn't hide anything, and told Kushina everything he encountered in his mission, and she was taken aback. After shopping around with Kushina and buying a lot of gadgets, I came to Ichiraku Ramen alone, which is Kushina's favorite. Hey, isn't this Minato? I haven't seen you for a long time. These days, Kushina came to eat ramen alone. Handa greeted Minato enthusiastically. Isn't it becoming a ninja? I need to do a task. I just came back from completing the task today. Minato explained with a smile. Haha, that's right. Your graduation assessment some time ago caused a sensation in Konoha. Nodded understandingly. After eating the ramen, I stayed with Kushina for a while, and then sent her home. After returning home, he found that Jiraiya hadn't gone out and was waiting for him at home. Lustful toad, don't you go drinking and peeking at the bathhouse. Minato knows Jiraiya's hobbies too well, and usually Jiraiya will never come back before midnight. TCH, it's not because I have to wait for you. Saying that, Jiraiya handed Minato a scroll and a bag of money. This is the reward for this mission and the practice method of lightning-style chakra mode obtained from torture. I got it from Ichiro Watanabe. As for the Saburo Watanabe meeting, it was all because Ichiro Watanabe handed it in private. Who is his own brother? So in the world of Hokage, Brokan is rampant. Watanabe Ichiro was able to obtain the lightning-style chakra mode cultivation method through the merits of penultimate. According to the regulations, he could not pass it on to anyone, even his own brother Saburo Watanabe. After Minato took the scroll, he couldn't wait to read it. As expected, it is the secret technique that Raikage of the past generations of Cloud Shinobi Village must learn, and it really has something unique. After checking, I thanked Jiraiya and went back to my room to start practicing. Controlling the lightning-style chakra, he began to strengthen cells, strengthen the body, and strengthen the bones according to the method recorded on the scroll. This practice lasts for one night. However, when Minato finished training and checked his own attributes, he was surprised to find that this night's training actually increased the progress of Sage Body by 0.1%. Only about 0.02%. This immediately increased the efficiency by nearly 5 times, which made Minato happy, which is also a surprise. The system looks at my properties panel. Host, Namikaze Minato. Age, 10. Strength level, Elite Chunin. Ninjutsu, Fire Style Flame Bomb, Lightning Style Ground Walk, Wind Style Great Breakthrough, Shadow Clone Technique, Body Flicker Technique, Fire Style Fire Extinguishing, Wind Style Whirlwind Fist, Lightning Style Furious Thunder Tiger, Lightning Style Chidori, Rasengan, Flying Thunder God Technique, Lightning Style Chakra Mode, various Sealing Techniques. Physique, Leaf Great Whirlwind. Illusion, Narukumi Technique. The first stage of Fire Style is 79.3% developed. Lightning Style Phase 1 development rate 94.1%. The development degree of the first phase of Wind Style is 79.6%. Sage Body development 3.45%. Spiritual development is 69.9%. The degree of space development is 52.8%. Seal development rate 56.6%. Overall strength, Special Jonin. Looking at his attributes, Minato showed a satisfied smile. He believed that when his Fire Style and Wind Style developments both reached 80%, his comprehensive strength would definitely be able to advance to Jonin. It's just that the development speed of the space is really slow. If the Lightning Style can increase the development speed by 15% when defeating an enemy of the same strength, the development speed of the space is only 5%. If it weren't for the battle against Anbu in the previous half a year, if I was lucky, the one that was randomly rewarded was Space, Spirit and Wind Indian development, and it is estimated that the development rate would not reach 50%. But soon, the development rate is already 52.8%. If you work harder and reach 60%, then you can get the second stage of the Flying Thunder God skill. At that time, the Golden Flash will be worthy of its name. Although its strength is not enough, its appearance is almost the same. It is all kunai flying out, and then the golden light flashes, taking away the enemy's name. After waking up, Jiraiya took Minato to the assembly point. As a teacher, he not only had to wait for the apprentice to do tasks, but also knew about the daily practice. Jiraiya is not the slacker who loves to be late, he is still very conscientious. He explained some practice experience and his own experience to 3 people without reservation, even Uchiha Makoto did not hide it. After getting along these days, he can see that this girl is not as arrogant as the rest of the Uchiha family, but a very gentle and kind girl. A whole morning passed like this, during which time Kushina also came to look for Minato, and Jiraiya knew that she was Minato's young daughter-in-law, so she didn't refuse and taught together. After teaching the 4 people, Jiraiya thought about it and prepared to hand over her summoning technique to the 4 people. Not to mention Minato and Kushina, even Uchiha Makoto and Moonlight Changfang have also been recognized by him. Originally, he planned to only give it to Minato, but now that he has become the leading teacher of this class, he can't favor one over another. Come here, I'm going to hand over the summoning beast to you, I wonder if you'd like to sign it. Jiraiya didn't write any ink, and went straight to the point. Minato was stunned when he heard that. This is the butterfly effect. In the original book, he is the only summoning beast who signed Mount Myoboku. However, Minato's teammates in the original book are not these two people, but two completely unknown characters, and they are the dead ones. However, Minato doesn't care about plots or plots. He has a systematic life and pushes all the things that don't please him, even Uchiha Madara. When he grows up, he will still be beaten, and he will not give him any face. Teacher, I am willing. Yugong Chengfeng's cold expression finally changed, and he said with a little excitement, Jiraiya's summoning technique is famous all over Konoha. I am willing too, Mr. Jiraiya. Needless to say, Makoto was willing. What about you? Jiraiya couldn't help asking when he saw that his direct disciple dragged his chin in consideration. It's too ugly. It doesn't fit my aesthetics. I'm thinking about whether I need to change it. Minato, who was thinking about the problem, said it subconsciously, and Jiraiya's veins popped when he heard it. Don't stop me, don't anyone stop me, I want to kill this unfilial person, it's so annoying. Hey, why didn't you two stop me? Because you were afraid that I would kill your teammates. Forget it, anyway, it's my beloved disciple, so let's just pretend he was talking in his sleep. Jiraiya thought with tears streaming down his face. There was nothing he could do about meeting such an uneasy disciple, he was also very desperate. Forget it, something is better than nothing, and toads are still acceptable. Perhaps feeling Jiraiya's strong resentment, Minato said another sentence. Jiraiya heard it even more unpleasant. What is better than nothing? This is not the figure. Fortunately, Kushina didn't say the same thing as Minato, otherwise Jiraiya would collapse directly if he said what he said. Reluctantly, they took out the summoning scroll, and after flipping open the signed contract, the four of them stepped forward and signed the summoning contract with Mount Myoboku one by one. Now I will teach you how to seal the summoning technique. Haishuyu Shenwei is the order of the 5 seals of the summoning technique, but the time should be within 3 seconds. Don't forget. Jiraiya explained the summoning technique's seal method, and then asked the 4 people to try one by one. First of all, it was Moonlight Changfeng. He stepped forward first, according to the way Jiraiya handed in. Haishuyu Shenwei, summoning technique. Following the moonlight and the wind, he shouted loudly and slapped the ground with one hand, until a small frog appeared at his feet. This frog looks like it is only 1 month old, because the whole frog is only as big as the palm of the moonlight and wind, so it can't be used for fighting at all. Don't be discouraged, you are just using it for the first time. Practice slowly in the future, sooner or later you will summon a powerful frog. Jiraiya stepped forward to comfort. Moonlight Changfeng nodded, then retreated, and then Kushina couldn't wait to rush out, she also wanted to try. Haishuyu Shenwei, summoning technique. Kushina was full of momentum and her voice was loud, and she believed that she would be able to summon a frog bigger than Moonlight's long hair. As the smoke dissipated, a small tadpole struggled on the ground. Dwang! Jiraiya, Yugong Changfeng and Kushina all petrified themselves, staring at the little tadpoles on the ground in amazement, which simply refreshed their 3 views. Uchiha Makoto also covered his mouth and snickered, saying that the tadpole should be considered a success in summoning. Minato couldn't help covering his face when he saw it. As expected of Naruto's mother, like Naruto, the first summons were all tadpoles. Like a son, like a mother. Baga, what are you summoning? Why did the tadpoles come out? Jiraiya, who had been traumatized by Minato's words, suddenly burst out, pointing at Kushina and said indignantly. My summoning technique shouldn't be handed over to this couple. One actually thinks he's ugly, and the other goes too far, directly summoning a tadpole, which makes him feel ashamed. If you let Tsunade and Orochimaru know about this, and you still laugh their big teeth out, no, today's incident must not be spread, otherwise it will be too shameful. No, I want to try again. Haishuyu Shenwei, summoning technique. Unconvinced, Kushina couldn't help using the summoning technique again. Only this time it was better than last time. 2-legged tadpoles, or just 2 receding frogs. Baga, there is no progress at all, you'd better let someone else try. Jiraiya dragged Kushina down mercilessly, he didn't want to watch it anymore, otherwise he would collapse. Mr. Jiraiya, you fool, why haven't you made any progress? You already have 2 extra legs. Kushina was unconvinced, arguing entirely with reason. Ha 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 ha, Uchiha Makoto on the side couldn't bear it any longer, and laughed loudly while clutching his stomach. Even the usual facial paralysis Moonlight Changfeng's face twitched, and his shoulders trembled desperately. It seemed that he had endured a lot of hard work. Minato and the others bullied me. Kushina was laughed at by everyone, and naturally knew that she was making trouble for no reason, so she couldn't help but threw herself into Minato's arms, seeking comfort. Well, this wave of dog food was caught off guard, making the other 3 single dogs very unhappy. Especially Uchiha Makoto, looking enviously at Kushina in Minato's arms. Makoto, try it next. In order not to eat dog food, Jiraiya had to change the subject and let Makoto try. Uchiha Makoto withdrew his gaze, and also used the summoning beast to summon a normal frog, which was slightly larger than Moonlight Changfeng's. Even Makoto can summon frogs, why can't I summon them? Kushina said angrily. Haha, is that because of your special circumstances? Don't be discouraged, I believe you can do it. Minato said as he scratched Kushina's stomach, which was the seal of 9 tails. Kushina understood immediately, and she also knew that his chakra was usually disturbed by 9 tails chakra, which was very difficult to control. It's all because of that arrogant fox. Kushina muttered angrily. 9 tails, and Kushina rolled her eyes after hearing this, and blamed me. Minato, come here, let that lecherous toad Mr. Jiraiya see what a genius is. Kushina is not afraid of failure, I have my Minato, and I will definitely brighten your titanium alloy dog eyes. Minato rubbed Kushina's head gently after hearing this, then stepped forward, gathered a huge chakra, and bit his finger. Haishuyu Shen Wei, summoning technique. A very large cloud of smoke appeared in front of Minato. This is. Jiraiya's eyes widened and her jaw almost fell to the floor. Because as the smoke dissipated, a large toad tens of meters high appeared in place. Wenta. Jiraiya surrendered her voice in shock. Jiraiya, what did you summon me for? Seeing Jiraiya, Wentai asked strangely. This, I didn't summon you, it's my disciple, Namikaze Minato. Jiraiya pointed to Minato. A new contractor, but it's not bad to be able to summon me, but even if I'm too young, is it reliable? Mrs. Wen is not as arrogant as she will be decades later. Haha, this is my disciple, how could it be unreliable, otherwise I wouldn't have summoned you. Jiraiya smiled and gave a thumbs up, the meaning is self-evident. Boy, don't call me if you have nothing to do. If it's a fight, you must call me. My strength is very strong. When Tai returned to the summoning world after finishing speaking. Unexpectedly, you were able to summon Bunta out. Jiraiya looked at Minato curiously. I don't know either, maybe the chakra I use is bigger. Minato shrugged and said indifferently. Anyway, he didn't expect to summon Toad Bunta. Okay, as a teacher, it's noon for Xiaoya, I invite you to lunch. Looking up, Jiraiya waved her hand. Okay, I'm going to eat barbecue. Kushina said with a smile. There are so many people, it is not easy to eat ramen, but it is still possible to eat barbecue, and the last time I went to the restaurant was also delicious, just a change of taste. Yuxi, let's go. Let Kushina lead the way, and Jiraiya and the others follow behind. After eating a sumptuous lunch, Jiraiya dismissed the team and let them go to practice by themselves. If you have any questions, come back tomorrow. In the afternoon, he was going to go out and have a good time by himself, otherwise the vacation would be wasted, and he couldn't give all the time to Minato and the others. Minato did not take Kushina away, but chose to stay. After all, the relationship between teammates still needs to be cultivated, otherwise they will always be alone, and there will be no sense of tacit understanding when doing tasks in the future, and he feels that these two people are good. Although Yugong Changfeng is a bit colder, but his heart is good, maybe it is because of his personality. And I don't know if it was fate, Uchiha Makoto and Kushina hit it off and got together chattering. The four of them started the afternoon practice together, and if they didn't understand something, Minato could solve it for Uchiha Makoto on the spot, and Jiraiya didn't need to solve it. After staying in Konoha for 3 days, Jiraiya brought a new task, which was an escort task, to escort supplies to the border between the Land of Fire and the Land of Rain. Because the front line is tight and Jiraiya is fine, let them also see the battlefield, so that they can understand the cruelty of war. After hearing this, Minato felt turbulent. It is the easiest way to gain development speed on the battlefield, but it is also the easiest way to lose life. Fortunately, this time it was an escort mission. Even if someone intercepted the other party, the number of people would not be too many. Don't be a vegetarian in Konoha's defense line. If you let a large number of enemies sneak into the country of fire, don't fight at the front line, and the backyard will catch fire. All supplies are stored in 2 large storage scrolls, one for Minato and one for Jiraiya. Of course, it wasn't just this pair of them, there were also 3 other teams, all of which were a Jonin and 3 of his subordinates. However, the storage scrolls they carry are much smaller. This is because Konoha is afraid of fighting and the things of the other 3 teams will be destroyed, so they are much smaller. Before leaving, Minato and Kushina warmed up for a while. After all, once they go this time, there is no guarantee when they will be able to come back. At least it has to be calculated on a monthly basis. It is estimated that 1 or 2 months is the fastest time to go back and forth. A group of 4 teams headed towards the land of rain with supplies on their backs. Along the way, Jiraiya and Minato were quite casual, and the others, including those Jonin, were very nervous, fearing that a bunch of ninjas would suddenly appear out of nowhere to intercept them. The first few days were calm, but when they came to the border of the Fire Nation on the 7th day, even Jiraiya began to feel dignified. Because if someone really appeared, it would be intercepted at the border, so even Jiraiya played 12 points and slowed down the team's progress. Otherwise, if the materials were destroyed by carelessness, it would be really embarrassing. There are enemies. Naturally, there are sentient ninjas in the team. A member of the Hyuga clan checked not far away with his bulging veins, and ambushed more than a dozen ninjas. Which village are the ninjas from? Jiraiya asked. Look, the forehead protector belongs to Sand Shinobi. The Hyuga clan reported what they saw to Jiraiya. Sand Shinobis, it's troublesome, be careful of their poison. The current Konoha has not matched medical ninjas, so if they are poisoned, it will be big trouble. Everyone nodded solemnly. Sand Shinobi is not only troublesome because of their poison, but also those puppets are annoying. They shouldn't have found us. Can we use this to counter-ambush? Someone suggested. Jiraiya nodded upon hearing that. This is indeed a way. At the moment, a group of people began to slowly move towards the place where Sand Shinobi was in ambush. When Jiraiya and the others came near Sand Shinobi's hiding place, they exchanged glances with Minato and nodded in agreement. Minato then pointed to Uchiha Makoto and Jiraiya nodded. Although he and Uchiha Makoto have not been in the team for a long time, but when Minato gave him a wink and then tied a hand with the fire-style seal, Uchiha Makoto knew what it meant. Immediately, the 3 of them stood in front of them, and their hands began to form seals. Fire style, big flame bullet. Fire style, fire out. Fire style, fire dragon flame bullet. Jiraiya, Minato, and Uchiha Makoto unleash fire-style ninjutsu together. The fire-style ninjutsu of the 3 people fused together to form an overwhelming flame that surrounded Sand Shinobi lurking in the dark. No, I've been discovered, retreat quickly. The fire is coming, and Sand Shinobi has no time to use ninjutsu to resist fire-style. They could only scatter in all directions to avoid the monstrous flames. The Konoha squad, which had been preparing for a long time, rushed towards the ninjas wearing Chunin vests. This was what they had planned before. After causing the chaos in Sand Shinobi, let the 3 teams except the teacher lead the other 3 to attack the weaker ones. With white-eyed detection, depending on the amount of chakra, it can be roughly judged that those people are strong and those people are weak. While Jiraiya faced Sand Shinobi's elite Jonin, Minato also faced up to a Jonin, and Uchiha Makoto teamed up with Moonlight Changfeng against a special Jonin. The 3 Jonin teachers also confronted the murderous 3 Jonin. Generally speaking, the strengths of the 2 sides are similar, but Jiraiya is obviously much stronger than elite Jonin. As long as Konoha's Jonin is undefeated, the balance of victory will fall on Konoha's side. Jonin, who is facing Minato, is a ninja with wind attribute ninjutsu, not a puppeteer. Send a child against me. Does Konoha village look down on me too much? To be able to participate in this escort mission at such a young age may be Konoha's genius. Killing you must be very fulfilling. The Sand Shinobi Jonin smiled sickly, staring at Minato with bloodthirsty eyes, ready for a one-hit kill. Chapter 31. Minato opened his eyes of insight, and saw the strength and ability of the opposite Jonin clearly. Name: Luo Yi. Age: 28. Ninjutsu: Wind Style Great Breakthrough, Wind Style Scythe Itachi, Wind Style Scythe Itachi, Wind Style Wind Blade, Wind Style Sand Array. Comprehensive Strength. Jonin. After investigating Luo Yi's strength clearly, Minato breathed a sigh of relief. There is no blood succession limit and no special secret technique, so there is no need to worry. Besides, Minato's fire style completely restrains his wind style. Wind style. Great breakthrough. Although Luo Yi despises Minato on the surface, he still values him very much in his heart. In any case, the opponent is a ninja on the battlefield, and if he dares to come and intercept him alone, he must have the ability, otherwise wouldn't he be sent to death? Luo Yi would not think that Konoha's people had a problem with their brains, so they would send a kid over to die. So just now he looked down on Minato on the surface, but he was actually pretending. He is now going to test Minato's true strength with low-level ninjutsu. Let's see what level of strength Minato is at. Fire Style. Fire Bomb. To deal with wind attribute ninjas, use fire style as the best, their wind tends to increase the power of fire. For example, now, Luo Yi's wind style Great Breakthrough did not cause any damage to the fire style Flame Bomb at all, but increased its power. It turned out to be a fire style ninja. His attributes were restrained by this guy. When Minato used fire style, Luo Yi knew it was not good and left the place early. Boom. Fire style where the fire bombs raged, a scorched black pit appeared where Luo Yi was just now. If it wasn't for Luo Yi's ability to hide quickly, it is estimated that his majestic Jonin would have been wiped out by a fire style. This time Luo Yi didn't dare to take it lightly. This brat has the strength to threaten him, but he still has attributes to restrain him, so he has to put up all his energy to deal with this brat. Frontal hard bar ninjutsu is the next strategy, so we can only go around and find the right opportunity to give this kid a killing blow. While Luo Yi was thinking, Minato attacked with another ninjutsu, Wind Style Whirlwind Fist. The little ghost is just the little ghost. He uses ninjutsu so frequently. When he doesn't have chakra, give him a fatal blow. Seeing Minato release ninjutsu again, Luo Yi has a new tactic. Then Luo Yi continued to use speed to lure Minato to attack him with ninjutsu. As for Minato, of course he already guessed Luo Yi's plan, but he just pretended not to know. Although Minato consumes more chakra each time than Luo Yi used to avoid chakra, but Minato's chakra is more than 10 times that of Luo Yi, Minato doesn't care at all. Gradually, Luo Yi finally felt that something was wrong. He had consumed half of the chakra himself, but the kid on the opposite side continued to release ninjutsu without any effort. Why does this kid have so many chakras? Are Konoha's people all monsters? Luo Yi looked at Minato in horror. Minato didn't care about him, and kept releasing fire style and wind style. Ding! Congratulations, host Wind Style has reached 80% development. Ding! Congratulations to host for learning the A-level ninjutsu Rasengan. Ding! It is detected that the host has learned Rasengan, and the reward will be replaced. Ding! Congratulations to host for learning A-level ninjutsu Big Ball Rasengan. After hearing the system's upgrade sound, Minato was startled. The ninjutsu that he had learned should be able to change, but why is he rubbing balls again? It seems that the system also hopes that it will go further and further on the road of making meatballs. So, the reward for 100% development is Wind Style, Spiral Shuriken. If I learn it in advance, will I have a Wind Style, Daiyu Spiral Shuriken? Thinking about it, it is really possible. If so, then it is decided to develop Wind Style Spiral Shuriken decisively. However, this time is not short, you need to practice the nature transformation of the wind attribute first, but if the practice is successful, it will also be used as one of your trump cards. And there is no need to worry about the problem of the wrist at all. With the resilience of the benefits provided by his own system, it is estimated that as long as he sleeps, the injury will be fully recovered the next day. Besides, there is still Sage Body, and the resilience is also leveraged. There were so many thoughts, but these were the thoughts that flashed through Minato's mind for a split second. Let's get rid of the person in front of him now. With Big Ball Rasengan, Minato is even more sure of him. Shadow Clone Technique. Boom. Minato allocated 10 Shadow Clone at once, and he already had a battle plan in mind, which could kill them with one hit. I saw the Shadow Clone that Minato separated. 5 Shadow Clone rushed towards Luo Yi, and 4 surrounded them in 4 directions, east, west, south, east, and north, and then engraved the Flying Thunder God formula. Immediately afterwards, the 4 shadow clones changed positions again, and continued to engrave 4 Flying Thunder God spells. In this way, 8 Flying Thunder God spells surrounded Minato and Luo Yi. Minato's method is very simple, and he is not going to sneak attack anymore. He wants to trap Luo Yi in this small encirclement. Then use ninjutsu to beat him to death. As for getting out of the encirclement, it is impossible. All 8 directions left Minato's Flying Thunder God technique. As long as you move your Uichi, Minato will come to the direction he is going first, and then drive him back. This was to prevent Luo Yi from escaping. Of course, Minato wanted to use the Flying Thunder God technique to pinch Luo Yi back and forth. This was his main purpose. And just in case, several shadow clones are also on standby at any time. If I really can't make it in time, the shadow clones can come over and have a big ball to collide with Luo Yi. It can be said that Minato has calculated everything, just to take Luo Yi away in a wave, so as not to let him have a chance to breathe. Next is Minato's debut as a mobile fort. Everything was ready. Minato looked at Luo Yi, who was not far away, and secretly thought in his heart, "Sorry, I accept your order." Fire style, fire out. The surging flames spread towards Luo Yi with a soaring aura. Not only that, but the last shadow clone around also released wind style, great breakthrough at the same time. The fire took advantage of the wind, and the raging flames became even stronger. A sea of flames flowed across the sky, and crazy waves of fire followed one after another, as if trying to swallow the sky with claws and teeth. And in front of the sea of fire was Luo Yi. At this moment, Luo Yi felt his insignificance. He never thought that this kid could use combined ninjutsu, and it was so powerful. The scope of the scourge is very large, and now there is no other way but to back off. At the moment Luo Yi didn't notice, a golden light flashed behind him, and Minato used the Flying Thunder God technique to appear not far behind him. At the same time, the shadow clone not far from Minato also jumped to his side. Fire style, fire out. Wind style, great breakthrough. The same monstrous sea of flames swept from behind Luo Yi. This made Luo Yi, who was still thinking of running backwards, suddenly change his expression. This guy can still use such a powerful flame, and most importantly, he didn't even know when this kid ran behind him. There's nothing I can do. I can only jump up. Then I just have to resist the aftermath. At this moment, Luo Yi didn't think too much, because he knew that he was in danger, and the next thing he could do was to see what he did. However, Minato had expected Luo Yi's movements, so when Luo Yi jumped up, Minato also jumped up, and at the same time, there was a seal in his hand, which was the Shadow Clone Technique's seal. Of course Luo Yi also saw Minato jumping into the air, but he didn't care, because Minato jumped a few meters away from him, and this distance was like a gap that he couldn't cross. But since Minato had planned, how could he not be prepared? Boom! 2 Shadow Clone appeared next to Minato, and then one of them, Shadow Clone, picked up Minato's body, and stepped on the other Shadow Clone as a pedal. Whoosh! Minato and Shadow Clone continued to fly towards Luo Yi, and at the same time Shadow Clone let go of Minato, using his chest as a footboard for Minato to step on. Jonin of Sand Shinobi, this blow will completely end you. Take it, Big Ball Rasengan. Minato, who was stepping on the Shadow Clone, said that there was a huge chakra ball in his hand, which was so big that it was half of Minato's body, so big. Nani? Luo Yi showed a look of disbelief when he saw it. He didn't expect Minato to attack in this way. At this time, he was in the air and could not use his strength at all. He could only watch as Minato attacked with the huge blue chakra sphere. Go to hell! Minato kicked hard, and his whole body flew out, charging towards Luo Yi with an indomitable momentum, and then in his desperate eyes, he pressed the Big Ball Rasengan, who was sure to win, hard on his chest. Wow! The Big Ball Rasengan was hit in the chest, and Luo Yi spit out a mouthful of blood on the spot. Because Minato was the Big Ball Rasengan that was pressed down, Luo Yi's whole body fell towards the sea of flames below. Minato, who was looking down, shrank his pupils, and then launched the Flying Thunder God technique without hesitation, and the golden light left the air in a flash, and returned to the original position. Boom boom boom. Just after Minato left, the two flames finally collided, and by coincidence, Luo Yi's body hit by Big Ball Rasengan also appeared at the intersection of the two flames. Ah! A miserable cry resounded between the heaven and the earth, and at the same time the sound of the sea of fire colliding also attracted everyone's attention. The collision of the sea of flames formed by the extinguishing of the two great fires caused too much movement, and the overwhelming flames seemed to burn the surrounding area. Especially in the middle of the sea of flames, the flames that kept rushing up into the sky seemed as if they were going to swallow the sky. I didn't expect Minato to take down Jonin so quickly. My teacher hasn't taken down Jonin yet. What a mistake. Glancing at Minato, Jiraiya thought in embarrassment. In order not to be compared by his disciples, Jiraiya accelerated the pace of attack. Minato has become stronger again. This kind of movement is really hard to imagine that Minato is only 10 years old now, but even if he can't catch up, he can't fall behind too much. Sharp, he was stimulated by Minato. Minato, I'm going to work hard too. Seeing the movement caused by Minato, Uchiha Makoto's heart became more and more determined, and he couldn't hold back Minato. The movement caused by Minato's sharp operation can be said to have directly affected the other 3 members of Jiraiya's class. It's really a legendary genius. It's only been a long time since I graduated, and I can already kill Jonin. Who says there are many? Compared with him, our achievements are not worth mentioning at all. It's okay to compare with him, we don't compare with pervert. Not only Jiraiya's class, even the other Konoha people were also surprised. Besides, on Minato's side, after Luo Yi was engulfed by the ruthless sea of flames, the sound of the system upgrading also came. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing a Jonin, randomly rewarding 15% of fire style development. Ding! Congratulations, the development rate of host fire style has reached 80%. Ding! Congratulations to host for learning the A-level ninjutsu fire style, Fire Flames. I searched Baidu N times, but I couldn't find any fire style ninjutsu of A-level or above, so I made one up myself. The 3 escape techniques have finally reached 80% of the development rate, especially the fire style and lightning style, which are far more than that. If you work hard during this period, you should be able to reach the complete development of the first stage. The system looks at my properties panel. Host: Namikaze Minato. Age: 10. Strength level: Special Jonin. Ninjutsu: Fire style Flame Bomb, Lightning style Ground Walk, Wind style Great Breakthrough, Shadow Clone Technique, Body Flicker Technique, Fire style Fire Extinguishing, Wind style Whirlwind Fist, Lightning style Furious Thunder Tiger, Lightning style Chidori, Rasengan, Big Ball Rasengan, Fire style Flame Burning Heaven, Flying Thunder God Technique, Lightning style Chakra Mode, various Sealing Techniques. Physique: Leaf Great Whirlwind. Illusion: Narukumi Technique. The first phase of Fire style is 94.7% developed. Lightning style Phase 1 development rate 94.4%. Wind style Phase 1 development rate 80.1%. Sage body development 3.5%. Spiritual development 70.2%. The degree of space development is 58.1%. Seal development rate 57.6%. Comprehensive strength: Jonin. Although the overall strength is Jonin, the average Jonin is really not Minato's opponent, and he can still do leapfrog challenges. Because of the Flying Thunder God technique and the huge chakra as background, Minato can often defeat enemies who are a little stronger than himself. After eliminating the enemies in front of him, Minato didn't stop, but looked around, found one and rushed over. Leading teacher, go help others, I'll leave this Jonin to you. Coming to a Konoha leading teacher, Minato was about to grab the head. The Jonin nodded immediately, and he also knew that the Konoha super genius in front of him had just killed the enemy Jonin, and head grabbing didn't affect him in the slightest. So he simply handed over the opponent to Minato, then checked around and found that the students were not in danger, so he rushed to another Jonin battlefield, ready to join forces to deal with the enemy. And the Sand Shinobi in front of Minato is a puppeteer. To deal with the puppet master, Minato thought for a long time, and planned to use the newly acquired A-level fire style ninjutsu to try it out. When the time comes, no matter whether the opponent is the main body or the puppet, he will burn them to pieces. The Sand Shinobi puppeteer on the opposite side immediately became vigilant. Although Luo Yi's strength was a little weaker than him, but it was limited. He thought it was impossible to kill Luoyi so quickly. So he was still very vigilant about Minato who could kill Luoyi, and it was not like he hadn't missed the monstrous flames just now. The strength of this kid should not be underestimated. Minato didn't intend to fight a protracted war with the opponent. Now that there are so many development speeds waiting for him to snatch, there is no time to ink with others. Fire style, flame burning to the sky. The hands were tied together, and a trace of flame appeared at Minato's feet, and then began to spin around Minato, like a fire horse running. As the flames continued to run, the flames suddenly turned into flames, and then became larger and more numerous. In the blink of an eye, Minato's surroundings had become a circle of fire. Then the whole circle of fire rose into the sky and turned into a monstrous flame, and Minato stood in the middle of this monstrous flame. It's not over yet. The monstrous flames rushed towards the sand shinobi puppeteer not far away as if they were intelligent. What a powerful fire style is this, and this fire style has never been seen or heard of before. Could it be Konoha's new fire style ninjutsu? Facing the overwhelming flames, the puppeteer was shocked. But soon the puppet master came back to his senses, and then ran away without looking back. This made Minato very helpless. You, a Jonin, run away from a child of 10 like me. Is this really okay? If the puppeteer knew what Minato was thinking, he would definitely yell at him, "God, 10-year-old kid, have you ever seen a 10-year-old kid so awesome?" Fortunately Lai Yan Fen Tian could be controlled. Minato ran while controlling Lai Yan Fen Tian to sweep towards the puppeteers. The puppeteer who thought he ran away looked back and almost fell down in fright. What the hell, can this fire style still control it? Do you want to be so powerful? Seeing fire style getting closer and closer, the puppet master flashed a flash of determination in his heart. He had no choice but to abandon the car to save his handsomeness. Fortunately, he had 2 puppets, so it would be no big deal to destroy one. At the moment when Lai Yantian was about to hit the puppet master, a figure stood in front of the puppet master without hesitation. Boom! The ruthless flames engulfed the puppet master's puppets, but with the puppet's resistance, the puppet master finally had the time to fight back. He took out another puppet of his own, and then this puppet opened its mouth, spit out countless poisonous needles, and shot them at Minato. The green light all showed how terrible the poison of the needles was. Facing the poisonous needle, Minato can only dodge temporarily, which is embarrassing because he has no defensive ninjutsu. But most mobile turrets don't need defensive ninjutsu at all. After elementalization in the future, these poisonous needles and other physical attacks will have no effect on him at all. As for ninjutsu, Minato said that everyone present is rubbish, and after elementalization, all ninjutsu can be cast instantly without knots. That's when the Minato mobile turret really came into its own. After finally seizing the opportunity, how could the puppeteer give Minato another chance to use ninjutsu? This kid's ninjutsu is too exaggerated and powerful. The puppeteer's 10 fingers moved nimbly, and while controlling the puppet to release the poisonous needle, he approached Minato again and again. Looking at the puppeteer who was chasing after him, Minato's heart skipped a beat, and he ran towards Luoyi's direction just now, where his Flying Thunder God spell carved it. MDZZ, if you have the ability, you keep chasing after me. Wait a minute and I will use the Flying Thunder God technique to brighten your titanium alloy dog eyes. Minato ran, muttering to himself. Just now it was Minato chasing the puppet master, now it is the puppet master chasing Minato, the two have completely switched roles. It's finally here. Not long after, Minato arrived at the place where he fought Luoyi just now, and at this moment, the sea of flames caused by the 2 extinguished fires had become very small. The puppeteer didn't find out about Minato's plan at all. He didn't know anything about time and space ninjutsu, and he didn't know what he was about to face. Boy, aren't you very powerful? Didn't you chase very tightly just now? Why are you so cowardly now? If you have the ability, come here and be tough. Seeing that Minato was running all the time, the puppeteer used the aggressive method. This kid's speed is so fast, he has been unable to catch up. If this continues, his poisonous needles will be used up. So use the aggressive method, and prepare to let this kid be fooled. After all, he is still young, so he might fall into the trap easily. Minato heard the puppeteer's aggressive technique, looked back, and found that the puppeteer was right on top of the Flying Thunder God spell that he had engraved. Hard steel is hard steel, I'm afraid you won't succeed. Minato pretended that he couldn't stand the aggressive method, and stopped running away. The puppet master was overjoyed when he heard that, and knew that this kid was still young and couldn't stand the aggressive method. It's just that before his joyful expression could be revealed, he realized that there was a loud shout in his ear. Big Ball Rasengan. It turned out that Minato used the Flying Thunder God technique to come to the puppeteer's side, and then blasted the bewildered puppeteer with a big ball. Sure enough, it's a panacea. If you don't know about time and space ninjutsu, it's really a sneak attack. Boom. The mighty Big Ball Rasengan concentrated on the puppeteer's back when he didn't react at all, causing tons of damage. The puppet master was directly knocked down by the Big Ball Rasengan, and the powerful chakra directly blasted the ground out of a circular pit with a radius of 10 meters, which shows the power of this blow. Cut. It's useless. Didn't you mean hard steel? I can't take it anymore after eating a big meatball. Where did the arrogance go? Minato said sarcastic remarks while holding the puppeteer by his feet. Ding, congratulations to host for killing a Jonin, and randomly reward 9% of win style development. Hey, it's only 9%, a drop of 6 points. Minato was surprised after hearing the system's prompt. Could it be that it exceeded 80%, so the development rate has dropped? But even if it exceeds 80%, it cannot drop so much. System, what's going on here? Just ask the system if you don't understand something. There are 2 reasons. The first is that the development rate that host thought was more than 80% lower, and the other is because this Jonin consumed a lot of chakra before, and he is not in his prime. The system explained. After hearing this, Minato suddenly realized, no wonder it has been reduced so much, that's how it is. But no matter what, it's not bad to be able to increase by 9%, at least it's much faster than self-cultivation. Speaking of development, Minato looked at the remaining ninjas, Chunin and Elite Chunin with fiery eyes. Just when Minato was deciding which Jonin to choose, Jiraiya's side settled his opponent. When Minato saw it, he trembled in his heart. It was a heartache. If an elite Jonin is gone, how much development speed would be wasted? Thinking of this, he no longer hesitated, and rushed to other battlefields to help the teachers leading the team deal with Jonin. With the addition of Minato, the remaining 2 Jonin were resolved very quickly. After all, there is Minato, the king of sneak attacks, who knows where he will come out the next moment. Ding, congratulations to host for defeating a Jonin, randomly rewarding 0.4% of Sage Body development. Ding, congratulations to host for defeating a Jonin, a random reward of 2% of the seal development rate. Well, the development of these 2 people is even lower. The space development degree that Minato is most looking forward to has not been obtained. If it is obtained, then the space development degree will definitely reach 60%, and then the second stage of Flying Thunder God will be unlocked. There is no need to think about the battle plan so much. When the time comes, just throw a kunai over, and then a big or small ball can kill a careless Jonin in seconds. As Sand Shinobi's high-end combat power was wiped out, the remaining Sand Shinobi did not make any waves, and were quickly resolved. After looting the supplies on their bodies, the 4 teams escorting the supplies started to set off again. However, the members of the other 3 teams are all staring at Minato with admiration at this time. Only after seeing Minato's strength far beyond his peers can he intuitively know how powerful Minato is. Feeling the adoring gazes from behind, Minato felt that his heart could float. After all, 2 Jonins died directly under his hands today, plus 2 Jonins indirectly. It can be said that this ambush carefully planned by Sand Shinobi was completely destroyed by Minato. The road after that was very peaceful, and no ninjas from other countries came to ambush again. After a day of rushing, Jiraiya and the others finally came to the front line. At this time, Konoha's future Sannin II Orochimaru and Tsunade, as well as the future Konoha's White Fang are all sitting here. When Jiraiya and the others came to the camp, Hatake, Orochimaru and Tsunade came out to greet them. Jiraiya, did you come here very fast? I thought it would take another day. Didn't you encounter an ambush on the way? Hatake Sakumo smiled when we met. At this time, the front line is Hatake Sakumo as the general commander, because he is the only cage level strong in the entire camp, and Orochimaru and Tsunade are almost there. How could there be no ambush? But Sand Shinobi sent an elite Jonin, 4 Jonin and several Chunin, elite Chunin to ambush. It's just that we have solved them all and wiped out their entire army. It is estimated that so much high-end combat power has been lost, which is enough for Sand Shinobi to suffer for a while. Quote. Jiraiya immediately tells about the attack, especially Minato's glorious record. Hatake looked at Minato in surprise when he heard that. He had heard Jiraiya brag about how talented and powerful his disciple was before. It's just that there was no significant record at that time, so Hatake Tsukumo didn't take it seriously, but he didn't expect Jiraiya to give him a big hit today. This little guy who just graduated not long ago was able to kill Jonin alone. Even the other 3 Jonin at the end died because of him, which is kind of scary. Think about what stage they were in when they were 10 years old. They were probably still in Chunin, and they were at the level of elite Chunin. With such a comparison, they suddenly felt that they had lived on huskies for so many years, and they couldn't bear to look directly at them. Good boy, as expected of my younger brother, I didn't embarrass my sister. After Tsunade heard about Minato's tough record, he immediately walked over to hold Minato in his arms, and kept praising him. Seeing this, Jiraiya first glanced enviously at Minato in Tsunade's arms, and then spoke to Tsunade. What is your younger brother? Since when did Minato become your younger brother? He is my disciple and he was taught by me. Tsunade gave Jiraiya a disdainful look, his eyes full of contempt. Come on, let me have a good chat with you. Is Kushina my sister? Right, then what is the relationship between Kushina and Minato? Now you can still say that Minato is not my brother. Tsunade first argued with reason, and then looked at Jiraiya with contempt again. Then talk about your so-called teaching. Don't think I don't know that you have rarely taught Minato these years. My younger brother is such a genius, and he is self-taught, so you just gave him a few ninjutsu, which anyone can give. Quote. Regarding Tsunade's words, Jiraiya did not refute, because the facts speak louder than words, and he is not shameless enough to deny it, but although he is not shameless, he has a thick skin. Because he only has one sentence, Minato is my disciple, this cannot change the fact. It's just that Tsunade's words made Jiraiya die down, that is, unless Minato doesn't want Kushina, otherwise Minato is her younger brother, and this cannot change the fact. Okay, you two don't fight anymore. No matter whether Minato is Jiraiya's disciple or Tsunade's younger brother, he is the pillar of Konoha's future. Seeing that the two were still arguing, Hatake Tsukumo hurriedly came forward to persuade him. With Hatake Tsukumo's persuasion, Jiraiya and Tsunade finally stopped fighting. Minato watched for a long time, and finally understood why Jiraiya couldn't catch Tsunade after chasing him all his life. Every day, I know that I am arguing with Tsunade for the sake of face, and go around to peep at the bathhouse. It is strange that Tsunade can take a fancy to it. You have worked hard all the way, take a day off before returning to Konoha. Hatake Tsukumo suggested. Jiraiya thought about it but didn't refuse. She was really tired after traveling non-stop these days. Because of the limited space, Hatake Tsukumo gave each person in the delivery team a tent. There was no way, everyone was crowded together. After allocating the tents, Tsunade came over to find Minato, who came to ask about Senju Nawaki. No way, this brat is usually not worry-free, so Tsunade naturally needs to find out, and if he is naughty, go back and give him an iron fist of love. Perhaps because of the stimulation of Minato and Kushina, Senju Nawaki has worked very hard recently, which made Tsunade very pleased that his younger brother finally got the hang of it and knew that he had worked hard. After chatting with Tsunade for a while, Tsunade left. He still had a lot of things to do and couldn't waste too much time. At night, Minato lay in the tent and couldn't sleep. There was nothing he could do, his body was too sticky and uncomfortable. After yesterday's battle, I didn't clean it up properly, so I can't sleep now. After looking around, he found that Uchiha Makoto was not there, and only Jiraiya and Moonlight Changfeng were sleeping soundly in the tent. This made Minato lament that it was such a good habit to fall asleep so easily. After Minato walked out of the tent, he met a patrolling ninja and asked if there was any waterhole recently, and he wanted to take a bath. After the patrolling ninja told a general location, he didn't say anything more, he still knew Minato. This iconic yellow hair lets everyone know that this is Master Jiraiya's disciple, the famous super genius Namikaze Minato. It's just that after Minato left, he muttered, why do Master Jiraiya's disciples like cleanliness so much? The girl from the Uchiha clan came to ask just now. Forget it, it has nothing to do with me. If Minato had just taken a step, he would have been able to hear the muttering of the patrolling ninja, so he probably wouldn't have just passed by in such a hurry. When Minato came to the place mentioned by the patrolling ninja, he found that it was a small lake. Although it was a small lake, the area was quite large, but it was no problem to take a bath. Unable to be overjoyed, he took off his clothes and walked slowly into the water, but Minato didn't notice that there was a set of Uchiha clan costumes folded squarely a few meters away from where he just undressed. After washing his dirty clothes on the shore, he began to wash the stains on his body. After washing the whole body, looking at the lake, Minato's heart moved, and he said that he hadn't swum for a long time, and it was rare that it was clean now, and the place was not bad. Thinking of this, Minato started to swim to the other side of the lake. He was going to swim back and forth before returning to the tent. However, Minato didn't know that just after he entered the water, a delicate girl swam to the other side quietly. Her movements were very careful and she didn't make a sound. At most, there was a little ripple on the water, but Minato didn't care about it at the time. Moreover, Minato didn't feel the murderous intent. With the development of mental strength, he has a very keen sense of breath. If someone has murderous intentions towards him, he can feel it immediately. So Minato didn't realize from the beginning to the end that in this lake, someone had already gone down first, but after seeing him coming, he quietly hid in order to avoid embarrassment and unnecessary trouble. However, perhaps it was God's will, Minato suddenly remembered to swim, so he swam towards the center of the lake where the girl was. As Minato got closer and closer, the girl's heart became more and more flustered, and she kept praying in her heart not to get closer, not to keep getting closer. But things backfired. Minato wanted to swim to the other side, how could he not get close? Finally, when Minato was only 1 meter away from her, the girl's heart began to beat violently. Who's there? How could Minato not hear such an obvious movement, and immediately hit the leaf great whirlwind towards the place where the sound came from? Minato-kun, it's me. Feeling Minato's powerful attack, the girl in the water immediately uttered a sound, and if she didn't make a sound, it would be even more embarrassing to be regarded as an enemy and seriously injured. Nani? Hearing the familiar voice in the water, Minato's expression changed immediately, and he stopped the attack without hesitation, but although the attack was stopped, due to inertia, Minato still rushed towards the girl. Ah! With the girl screaming, Minato and the girl collided. Feeling the soft elasticity on the face, Minato knew what it was all at once, stood up awkwardly, and turned his back. I'm sorry Makoto, I didn't know you were here, and I didn't bump into you on purpose. Minato apologized embarrassingly. The bump just now can be said to have ruined the girl's innocence. Moreover, the girl's whole body was completely clear when she was attacking. No, it's okay. Regardless of Minato-kun's affairs, if I had spoken out earlier, what happened just now might not have happened. Uchiha Makoto behind him blushed. Instead of blaming Minato, she was secretly annoyed, blaming herself. It would have been fine if she had uttered a word the first time she saw Minato. Why did she hide with a guilty conscience? If he didn't hide, there wouldn't be such an embarrassing scene. You go up first, I won't look at you, I'll leave later. Minato thought for a while and swam to the side. Seeing this, Uchiha Makoto quickly swam to the shore, dried himself, put on his clothes, and said to Minato in the middle of the lake, Minato, I'm already dressed, you can come here. After hearing Uchiha Makoto's words, Minato saw him go far away, and immediately came to the shore and put on his clothes. Today's affairs are too embarrassing. I never thought that such a thing would happen. What is this? Welfare. But this benefit is too shocking. After getting dressed, he didn't go far, and saw Uchiha Makoto standing not far away. Needless to say, he must be waiting for him. Well, Makoto, you haven't left yet. Minato, who didn't know what to say, could only chat awkwardly. I'm waiting for you. After Uchiha Makoto finished speaking, his face flushed red. Today's matter was all a misunderstanding. Really, I didn't know there was anyone in the lake, otherwise I wouldn't have gone down. Minato thought that Uchiha Makoto was going to blame him, so he quickly explained. I didn't come to blame Minato-kun. I know that Minato-kun didn't do it on purpose, so don't blame yourself. Seeing Minato flustered, Uchiha Makoto couldn't help laughing. Hearing that Makoto didn't blame himself, Minato breathed a sigh of relief. As long as he wasn't treated as a pervert, he's not Jiraiya, his skin is so thick that even ninjutsu can't penetrate it. Then what's the matter with Makoto coming to see me? Minato asked suspiciously. I'm here to ask, what did Minato-kun see just now? Makoto thought about this question for a long time before he dared to ask it. God knows how fast her heart beat when she asked this sentence. Minato. At first I thought Makoto was going to ask something, but in the end he asked such an embarrassing question, which made Minato how to answer. I've seen everything I need to see. Minato thought for a while, and decided to tell the truth. Everyone was on the same team, and made it clear to avoid embarrassment in the future. Hearing Minato's words, Makoto was silent. In fact, he had already guessed the situation at the beginning. Minato should have seen it all, but there was still a fluke in his heart. What if Minato didn't see it? However, following Minato's answer, Makoto's face turned redder. There was no anger or atmosphere, only an indescribable feeling. Makoto is only about 4.5 years older than Minato's elder brother. Facing the handsome and talented Minato, he naturally has no power to parry, and the girl's admiration has long since fallen. Then Minato-kun will be responsible. Makoto is a very traditional girl. Her body was seen by Minato, and just now Minato-kun's face hit her chest again, so it seems that she can only follow Minato. Although Minato already has Kushina, but Makoto doesn't care. 3 wives and 4 concubines are too normal in the wealthy and noble families, and those big names don't have many wives. Just talk about Kushina. Besides, Makoto has also developed a little affection for Minato long ago, just happened to encounter such a thing today. Fortunately, he made it public. Minato was stunned. He had no idea that Makoto would say such a thing. What is this? The good wife who came to your door. Makoto just looked at Minato quietly and didn't speak. She also knew that Minato had to think about it because she came so suddenly. I just thought for a long time before I made up my mind. Makoto's gaze made Minato's heart tremble. He never thought that Makoto, who is usually gentle and soft like water, would do such a decisive thing today. And obviously, if Minato rejects Makoto now, then it is estimated that he will not even have a friend in the future. This makes Minato feel so distraught now that he doesn't know what to do. To be honest, Minato is very happy that such a beautiful girl wants you to be responsible, but thinking of Kushina Minato at home gives me a headache. The prestige of the blood red pepper is not scary, and I don't know if Kushina can accept the matter of serving a husband with Makoto. Well, Minato is now completely thinking about whether Kushina agrees or not at all whether he agrees or disagrees. Obviously, deep down in Minato's heart, he agrees with accepting Makoto. Well, there is no problem on my side, but I need to ask Kushina. After all, he is my first girlfriend. As long as Minato-kun agrees, let us work hard together with Kushina. After getting the answer he wanted, Makoto showed a happy smile, ran over and kissed Minato on the face, and then ran away shyly up. Touching the lip marks on his face, Minato smiled silly, then caught up with Makoto and held his hand, and walked back to the camp together. After walking with Makoto, Minato will face the Uchiha family, but Minato doesn't care about the attitude of the Uchiha family at all. Now that it is Jonin, how many of the Uchiha clan can be his opponents? If there is no accident in a few years, Minato will step into the cage level, and then there is no need to care about the attitude of the Uchiha clan. If you don't accept it, hold back for me, otherwise you will sweep the Uchiha clan to find out. As for taking Makoto, what about Urzuzi and Daezu? That doesn't care about Minato at all, he doesn't care about the plot at all, he only cares about whether he is having fun. With the system in place, in the early stage, you only need to develop insignificantly, and don't mess with Uchiha Madara too much. After the later stage, Minato dares to say that everyone in the ninja world is rubbish, including you Uchiha Madara. After all, Makoto was still shy. After returning to Konoha's camp, he immediately withdrew his hand and ran into the tent first. Seeing this, Minato shrugged helplessly and walked in. After returning to the tent, Minato lay down on his own bed and glanced at Makoto who had his back turned to him. Minato closed his eyes and fell asleep peacefully. The night passed quickly. Early in the morning, after the patrol shift, Minato and others ate some food with the main force, paid homage to their internal organs, and prepared to go back with Jiraiya and the others. Standing at the gate of the camp, the 4 classes waved goodbye and prepared to return to Konoha. Report to Tsukumo-sama, a large number of people from Rock Shinobi are rushing towards us. At this moment, a sensory ninja responsible for detecting the enemy's whereabouts came to report. How come at this time, after so many days of peace, they attacked today, and immediately summoned troops to fight Rock Shinobi's ninja with me? Although he couldn't figure out why Rock Shinobi wanted to attack Konoha's camp at this time, Hatake Tsukumo was not afraid, and immediately ordered the people around him to start gathering people. It's really a coincidence. In this way, we will leave later. Let the children lead them in the camp first. A few of our leading teachers will go over to help. We are also very powerful. Hearing that there was an enemy attack, Jiraiya naturally couldn't leave now, but was prepared to stay and defend against the enemy. Hatake nodded and agreed to Jiraiya's request. One more Jiraiya might turn things around at critical moments, not to mention the other 3 Jonin, all of which are high-end combat powers. Mr. Jiraiya, let me also fight, I am also a very strong output. Hearing that there is a battle, Minato immediately actively participated. He needs a lot of development speed to unlock new skills, and anyway, he can't die, there is a real crisis, just run away with a Flying Thunder God technique. He really doesn't believe that anyone can stop him who knows time and space ninjutsu. No, how old are you? How can you go to the battlefield? Let's talk about it after going back to practice for a few years. Before Jiraiya could reply, Tsunade was the first to stand up and object. Although he is not his own brother, Tsunade still cares about Minato very much, so he firmly opposes Minato going to the battlefield. After all, he still doesn't know that Minato will fly Thunder God technique. Sister Tsunade, let me tell you, I went to the battlefield to exercise myself, and I will never die. If I want to run, no one can catch me. Minato naturally knew Tsunade's worry, and immediately made a promise. You brat is too ignorant, who do you think you are, and no one can stop you if you want to run away. Tsunade was furious after hearing Minato's words, and began to reprimand Minato without hesitation. She doesn't want Minato to lose his life because of self-beating. If this problem is not corrected, sad things may really happen in the future. Sister Tsunade, I'm not lying, I will. Finally, Minato whispered in Tsunade's ear that he would know the Flying Thunder God technique. Can go back to camp. After Tsunade heard this, he looked at Minato in shock. It was incredible that the second grandpa's space-time ninjutsu was learned by this kid. You must know that for so many years, no one has been able to learn second grandpa's space-time ninjutsu. How many people have tried it, but unfortunately none of them have mastered it. Unexpectedly, my younger brother, whom I recognized today, has learned it. Then you have to make sure that you run back to the camp as soon as you encounter danger, and you are not allowed to be brave, otherwise I will not let you go. At this time, Tsunade will no longer organize Minato, and everyone must grow up. On the premise of not dying, Tsunade would still be happy for Minato to go to the battlefield. Only when he realizes the cruelty of the battlefield can he cherish life more. The others became curious, not knowing what Minato and Tsunade said, so that Tsunade, who was still firmly opposed just now, agreed to him to go to the battlefield. Orochimaru, in particular, looked at Minato with a little interest in his eyes, and he often heard him brag about Jiraiya's disciple. But now it seems that he is indeed a super genius. It can be said that among his peers, even he, a disciple of Hokage, cannot match Minato's achievements and strength. Jiraiya, an idiot, is really lucky to receive such a talented disciple. Orochimaru hadn't done scientific research at this point, so naturally he didn't have bad thoughts about Minato's body. Otherwise, Minato will give you a big ball every minute no matter how good it is. Without further ado, after confirming that Minato also participated in the battle, Hatake immediately led Konoha's large force to meet Rock Shinobi's ninja. Makoto looked at Minato's back and prayed silently in his heart, Mr. Minato, you must come back safely, I am here waiting for you. Konoha soon led a large force to meet Rock Shinobi's ninjas. As soon as the two sides met, they didn't say anything, and immediately started working. Now that the battle has been fought, the high-end combat power has its own old opponents, so Jiraiya and the others don't say anything, just find their old opponents and start fighting. There is only Minato, a pink and tender newcomer, without an old opponent. And a kid like him is very conspicuous in the crowd. Haha, is there no one in Konoha? You actually sent such a little brat over to join the battle. Kid, did you offend someone in Konoha, and sent you to the battlefield so early as cannon fodder? In this case, I will reap your little life, so that you will not be in a state of panic all day long, and it will be considered a good thing for me to do for you. Quote. While Minato was using the Eye of Insight to find Jonin's opponent, a rock shinobi ran up to him and started babbling. I looked at it with the eyes of insight, and found that it was a Chunin. What the hell, are the rock shinobi so awesome now? A Chunin ran up to me, a Jonin, to babble, who gave me the courage, Onoki. Boom. A very simple ball, right in the chest of this Chunin, sent him directly to see the Sage of Six Paths. Ding, congratulations to host for defeating Chunin, the random reward space development rate is 0.05%. Minato. Hearing the system's prompt, Minato almost collapsed. You are an idiot, and it's all your fault. What are you doing here? Maybe if I kill Jonin this time, my space development rate can reach 60%. Minato looked around. The nagging idiot hadn't completely swallowed his breath, and it seemed that he could be rescued. Just grab a piece of yarn, I'll send you to hell right now. Holding the super invincible Thunderbolt Big Ball, Minato pressed hard on the dying Chunin, completely annihilated his hope of being rescued, and now he really went to see Sage of Six Paths. After killing the idiot Chunin who was delaying things, Minato finally let out a sigh of relief. He really didn't come early and didn't come late, but when he killed such a piece of garbage, he randomly went to the space development speed. What a husky. No, now that the space development rate has been increased, should we kill one or two Chunin first, and then trouble Jonin? Thinking of this, Minato's eyes lit up, and this method is feasible. Seeing the cannon fodder of the two Chunin's strength, they directly gave each of them a small ball for free. Ding, congratulations to host for defeating Chunin, the random reward space development rate is 0.05%. Ding, congratulations to host for defeating Chunin, the random reward space development rate is 0.05%. Minato. The two prompts in a row made Minato feel that he had not only killed the husky, but even his ancestors of the husky. Minato felt like he was going to cry. What should he do next? Should he continue to kill Chunin, or find a Jonin to kill him? But without waiting for Minato to think too much, a Jonin set his sights on him, and killed the three Chunins from Rock Shinobi Village in a row, and someone naturally followed him. Little devil, are you strong enough? You are not a cannon fodder, but your luck is over, let me send you to hell. Rock Shinobi's Jonin showed a cruel smile. Strangling geniuses or something, he likes it the most, and he doesn't know who this brat offended. He was thrown on the battlefield at such a young age. If it were placed in Rock Shinobi Village, it would be a treasure. Well, this Jonin came just in time so that Minato wouldn't have to face hard choice syndrome. I looked around, my teammates still have a little ninjutsu that can't enlarge the range, and can only use targeted ninjutsu. Earth style, Tyrone gun. Sharp stone thorns emerged from the ground, and this Rock Shinobi's Jonin controlled it very well, and all the earthen guns did not hurt their own side. Not only attacked Minato, but also helped nearby partners. Seeing this, Minato has no choice. His attacks are either single-pointed or wide-ranging. There is no such thing as the Tulong gun that can be killed separately. Facing the attack of the Tulong gun, Minato did not dodge, took a step back and then interrupted the sharp stone thorn with a small ball. Hey, no, it seems that he really has one that can be separated, and it still restrains the attributes of this group of Rock Shinobi, but the level is a little lower. Minato has been useless for a long time, so naturally he has forgotten it. Lightning style, walk. He did what he said. His hands quickly formed seals, and a pulsating electric arc appeared from his body, and then spread from the ground, attacking the hostile Jonin. And the arcs running on the ground spread out from time to time to attack the nearby Rock Shinobi. Anyway, they were passing by, and by the way, they helped Konoha's companions, just like Rock Shinobi Jonin just now. Earth style, Earth Shore return. A large stone slab rises from the ground, blocking lightning style, Earth's path forward. Leaving an imprint of the Flying Thunder God spell on the spot, Minato rushed to the Rock Shinobi Jonin, decided to fight melee, and then looked for an opportunity to use Chidori to stun this guy. Whoosh whoosh. When Minato tried to get close to Rock Shinobi Jonin, the opponent threw several shurikens to stop him. To deal with this kind of small measurement, Minato can do it with a wind style, great breakthrough, blowing away all the flying shurikens. Seeing that his blocking was unsuccessful, Rock Shinobi Jonin frowned. Relying on his confidence in his own strength, he decided to confront Minato head-on. He is a majestic Jonin, but he is afraid that a kid will fail, even if the kid's strength is also a Jonin, so what? Earth style, Rock Fist. Rock Shinobi Jonin condensed the earth-attributed chakra in his hand, and then turned it into a hard stone fist, attacking Minato who was flying towards him. Wind style, Whirlwind Fist. Come and come, everyone is a fist, let's see whose fist is hard. The invisible whirlwind fist hits the tangible rock fist. Boom. After the two ninjutsu collided in the air, they disappeared one after another. But after a while, Minato finally approached this Rock Shinobi Jonin. This distance is enough, it's time for this ninjutsu to appear in the ninja world, and let's make your own reputation a little bit. Thinking of this, Minato quickly formed 3 seals. Chi 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 chi. Just as Rock Shinobi Jonin frowned seeing that he and that brat's ninjutsu had died together, a sharp and ear-piercing voice came from the front. It was as if thousands of birds were chirping in unison, and the sound spread out from the little devil's hand, but after seeing the visible thunder light in the little devil's hand, Rock Shinobi Jonin's face changed. What kind of terrifying ninjutsu is this? How could a kid master such a powerful ninjutsu? At least it's an A-level lightning style ninjutsu. Lightning style can restrain my earth style. Rock Shinobi Jonin began to scold his mother in his heart. Where did the little pervert come from? He is so powerful, he can't give others a way out. Not only the Rock Shinobi Jonin who was hostile to Minato, but even the surrounding Rock Shinobi and Konoha ninjas couldn't help but change their expressions. The dazzling thunder light was really scary. If they were hit by this thing, who would survive? Go down. Chi 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 chi. The dazzling thunder light not only made people startled, but also covered up all the surrounding sounds. This is Minato. Hiss, this terrifying lightning style may not lose to the third raikage of Cloud Shinobi Village. Could it be that this kid developed it? What a brat, this kind of extremely powerful ninjutsu has to be hidden from the teacher, it's really unlovable. Although Jiraiya was complaining, she couldn't hide the smile on her face. Tsunade, who has always called herself Minato's sister, is also full of pride when she sees this. This is my younger brother. Chidori. Minato's roar resounded all around, and Chidori's thunder attribute chakra stimulated the cells in the whole body, making them extremely active, which made Minato, who was already known for his speed, qualitatively improved. Whoosh. Minato turned into an afterimage. He had already locked on Rock Shinobi Jonin. The whole person rushed towards the enemy with an indomitable momentum and lightning speed. There was no expression on his delicate face, and his eyes were fixed on Rock Shinobi Jonin, and he must kill with one blow. Rock Shinobi Jonin, facing Minato, finally panicked. Originally, he could escape, but he was shocked by Minato's strength just now, so he forgot to escape, so that he missed the best time to escape. And even though he could see Minato Chidori's terrifying power from such a short distance, his body's reaction couldn't keep up. There was despair in his eyes, time seemed to be slowed down, and he could only watch Minato approaching him a little bit, but he was powerless, even unable to dodge. Earth style, Earth flow wall. Although Jonin, who is hostile to Minato, has no chance to react, it does not mean that the people next to him cannot support him. On the battlefield, his companions can be seen everywhere. Between lightning and flint, a wall of earth rose from the ground out of thin air, blocking in front of the dazed Rock Shinobi Jonin. Minato then chose to ignore the dirt wall that appeared in front of him, and continued to rush towards the locked gaze with lightning speed. Roar, Chidori, boom, Chidori ruthlessly pierced through the thick earth wall in an instant, as if it was not a wall but a piece of paper. PFF'd, a string of bright red blood shot out from Rock Shinobi Jonin's body. It turned out that Minato's Chidori not only pierced through the barrier of the earth wall, but also directly penetrated Rock Shinobi Jonin's heart behind the earth wall. Wow, his heart burst, and mouthfuls of blood spit out from his mouth. Rock Shinobi Jonin looked in disbelief at the little hand that was still shining with lightning on his chest. It was the owner of this hand who took his life away. It was he who forcibly pierced his heart and put his life into a countdown, but how old is this guy? Probably only 10 years old. Well, he opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but he lowered his head, drooped his arms, and completely lost his life. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing a Jonin, randomly rewarding 8% of spiritual development. Minato, I have a sentence MMP, I don't know if I should say it or not. However, it is also a good choice to increase the spirit. After all, he is also a very difficult attribute to add. Looking at the development of rewards, you can know that killing a Jonin with fire style can have 15%, and the spirit can only be 8%, up. Slowly pulling out his right hand, the blood on the opponent was also invisible. Minato's sharp gaze began to sweep around. He was looking for the next opponent, and he vowed not to give up until the space development speed was released. Clatter. Following Minato's glance, all the surrounding rock shinobi started to retreat at once. They didn't want to face such a perverted brat. That was the well-known Jonin in the village, and it ended up dying at his hands. Just as Minato was looking for his opponent, a figure ran towards him. Little ghost, don't be too arrogant, let me be your opponent next, let me send you to hell to meet my companions. Minato frowned. This guy has a lot of momentum, he couldn't help but observe with the eyes of insight. Name: Huang Yan. Age: 28. Ninjutsu: Earth Style. Comprehensive Strength: Elite Jonin quasi-cage level. Minato shrank his pupils. This is an existence at the same level as Jiraiya, but above Elite Jonin but not at cage level. It's really uncomfortable to be stared at by such a task. With this guy staring at me, how can I increase my development speed? You fool, is it easy for me to increase my development speed? And this guy who teaches Wangyan, is he a relative of 3rd Tsuchikage's son Wangtu? No matter what, 3rd Tsuchikage, I have kept your family in a small notebook in my heart, and I will definitely settle it with you in the future. Boy, now is not the time to be in a daze, let's take the move, Earth Style, Rock Fist Technique. Huang Yan didn't know what Minato was thinking. Seeing him in a daze, he launched an attack without hesitation. Oh, I've been a little drifting recently, and I'm in a daze in front of the enemy. Looking at the Rock Fist Technique, which was different from the Jonin before, Minato suddenly showed a dignified expression. Wangyan's Rock Fist Technique is much stronger than the Jonin just now in terms of size and power. Big Ball Rasengan. Minato didn't hesitate at all. Rock Fist Technique was close at hand, either escape with Flying Thunder God Technique, or Hard Steel. But obviously Minato didn't want to lose his momentum, and also wanted to try Wangyan's quasi-cage level strength, so a big ball was formed in an instant and collided with Wangyan's Earth Style, Yankwan Technique. Boom! Two powerful ninjutsu collided, causing a huge commotion. But in the end, Big Ball Rasengan is an A-level ninjutsu, and its power has the upper hand. It not only smashed the Rock Fist Technique to pieces, but also forced Wangyan back. Although Wangyan was forced to retreat, Minato was not happy at all. With the power of Big Ball Rasengan, he was able to force him back and not hurt him. Sure enough, this guy is much more difficult than those Jonins. Not bad, kid, I approve of your strength. Next, I will use all my strength to enjoy the last moment of my life. Seeing Minato's strength, Huang Yan finally got serious. No wonder he was able to kill Jonin. Strength. It's really a husky. I'm going to put my words here today. Don't say you killed me today. If you can seriously hurt me today, I will send my head to you, GGYY endlessly. I really thought I was a soft persimmon. You can pinch it however you want, and you don't even look in the mirror. What the hell are you? Huang Yan's words completely mad off Minato. He always acted like he could handle him casually. Even if I can't kill you today, I will keep it in my heart. When I become stronger in the future, you will be unlucky. You're looking for death. Huang Yan couldn't hold back when Minato taunted him. When had he ever been insulted like this? He roared and rushed towards Minato, determined to kill this kid. Earth Style, Wangquan Swamp. Wangyan formed seals while rushing, turning the land under Minato's feet into a muddy swamp. Leaf Great Whirlwind. Feeling the ground softening under his feet, he quickly used body skills, stepped out of this area before the ground completely turned into a swamp, and kicked Huang Yan who was running towards him with a flying kick. Dwang! Huang Yan raised his hand to block Minato's flying kick, and when Minato mentioned his hand, it felt like it was on the steel plate. This is Wangyan using the unique hardening technique of Earth Style. which makes the whole body hard and greatly increases the defense of the whole body. After finally getting close to the enemy, how could Minato leave so easily? Lika changed his move in the air, his right hand clenched into a tiger's claw, and slapped Huang Yan's chest like a black tiger digging out its heart. Just as Huang Yan was about to cross his hands under his crotch, Minato's blow to the black tiger's heart suddenly felt like it didn't last for a second. He believed in his intuition very much. He has avoided many fatal dangers by relying on his intuition for so many years. Pushing his legs hard on the ground, Huang Yan soared into the sky, dodging Minato's attack this time. His intuition was still very correct. Although Minato's move seemed special, when he was about to attack Wang Yan, a gust of wind attributed chakra instantly condensed into a Rasengan in the tiger's claw on his right hand. If he used his hands to block it just now, even if he had hardened, he would not be unscathed after being hit by the A-level ninjutsu Rasengan. Maybe his hands could not be used for a short period of time. It's no wonder that he is a quasi-cage level master like the lecherous toad. He has such keen combat experience and perception of danger, which allowed him to escape unharmed. Minato's sneak attack can be said to be perfect. However, the enemy's experience was too rich, and his perception of danger was too strong, which made his perfect shot fail. Muji Ninjutsu. Unexpectedly, Konoha has developed such a powerful ninjutsu, and you can learn it. Your status in Konoha is not low. How can you be sent to the battlefield? Are you not afraid of being damaged here? Huang Yan, who was avoiding Rasengan, was grateful for a moment. Just by feeling, he knew that the blue chakra ball just now was powerful, but this kid was too insidious. He used physical skills to cover it up. If he didn't trust his intuition, he might have been killed. Minato succeeded. Minato didn't speak when he heard that, and looked at Wang Yan with all his attention. This was the most powerful enemy he had ever encountered. Such a perfect sneak attack made the opponent dodge, so be careful next time. Because since the opponent knows that he has Muji Ninjutsu, he will definitely start to be wary, and it is not so easy to succeed in a sneak attack. Fire style, flame burning to the sky. Since the sneak attack is not possible, let's use a hard bar. The ruthless flame swirled around Minato and turned into a fire tornado and swept towards the Lois. Earth style, earth flow wall. Facing the huge flame, Huang Yan completed the seal in an instant, spit out a pile of soil from his mouth, and then a large amount of soil rose into the sky and turned into a thick city wall to block Huang Yan. Boom! The ruthless fire tornado was blocked by the thick city wall, unable to move forward, and also blocked Minato's sight. The fire was still raging. Minato looked around solemnly, because his vision was blocked. He couldn't know whether Wang Yan was still behind the city wall, so he had to carefully observe around to prevent sneak attack. After looking around, he didn't find Huang Yan's figure, and it was impossible for him to stay behind the city wall all the time, so he could only be in the ground under his feet. Thinking of this, Minato didn't care if there was anyone in the ground. Without any hesitation in his hand, he directly rubbed the big ball, and then pressed down hard on the opposite side. Big ball Rasengan. Boom! With a loud noise, the ground under Minato's feet was torn apart by big ball Rasengan, but there was still no trace of Wang Yan. Oops, isn't it underground? Where is that guy? Minato didn't feel sorry for wasting a big ball Rasengan's chakra. What he was struggling with was that he guessed wrong, that Huang Yan didn't come underground to attack him. Clatter. Just when Minato was tangled, the city wall that turned into mud flow wall turned into mud again, and Huang Yan's figure finally appeared. It turned out that he was standing there without moving. Good idea, kid, but do you think I'm going to attack from underground? Wasting a lot of chakra, and it's very annoying to end up emptying it. Huang Yan was very satisfied with his plan. He had already guessed that Minato would attack underground, so he stood still, and sure enough, that kid wasted a lot of chakra's move. Huang Yan's purpose is to let Minato waste chakra, and then he can clean him up later, but how would he know how much Minato's chakra is? A big ball Rasengan's chakra to Minato, that's just drizzle, not worth mentioning at all. In this silent game, two people can be said to have a radius of 8 tails, neither of them guessed right, nor did they achieve the desired result, neither of them won. Earth style, earthquake core. Huang Yan's face was filled with a murderous look. He slapped the ground with both hands, a lot of chakra surged, the kid on the opposite side was too dangerous, we must keep him here today, otherwise it might be the next Hitaki Tsukumo in the future. The land around Minato's feet began to descend suddenly, and it looked like an elevator when viewed from above. Facing the sudden drop of the ground, Minato couldn't help but change his face. This Wongyun was really strong enough to drop the ground under his feet by dozens of meters. Looking up at the surrounding walls, only the top is the only way out, but Minato believes that since Huangyan has used such a large amount of chakra, he will not let himself escape from the top exit. Sure enough, as soon as Minato's idea appeared, the surrounding walls began to tremble for a while, and then began to gradually collapse, and huge stones fell down towards Minato. Earth-style, Yansu collapse. Standing in place, Huangyan looked at the collapsed land coldly and mercilessly. After this set of combined punches, Huangyan believed that the kid would definitely have a hard time, and even if he survived, he was seriously injured. It's a pity that he didn't know that there is a kind of ninjutsu called time-space ninjutsu in the world. When the rock collapsed, Minato found helplessly that he didn't have defensive ninjutsu. And I was standing below, even if I broke the stone, many small stones would continue to fall, so I could only wait to eat ashes. Minato didn't want to stand stupidly and eat ashes. And what's even more embarrassing is that the battle was so exciting just now that I forgot to leave a Flying Thunder God technique outside. Now it's all right, the only way now is to go back to the camp. Otherwise, he would have to stay below to eat ashes, and he would also be hit by a group of stones. It goes without saying how to choose. With a flash of golden light, Minato disappeared in place, and when he reappeared, he was already at the Konoha camp. It's called Wongyun, right? I didn't even get my space development speed up yet, sir. I was forced to go back to the camp. The next time we meet is your death date. Just wait. As for Huangyan's actions to hinder his development speed, Minato deeply recorded him in his notebook. As for running to the battlefield again now, Minato didn't bother to run anymore, he was already back, so why run there again? Let's take a good rest. Well, go see Makoto first and tease your own little harem. What about people? What about that little devil? On the battlefield, Huangyan looked at the ground below Yansu Bang with a dazed expression. He unexpectedly found that there was no one under Yansu Bang. But now realization slaps Huangyan hard, because Minato is indeed no longer under the pit. He wasted a lot of the earthquake core used by Chakra, and the two earth-style ninjutsu used by Iwasuku had no effect at all. How did that brat escape? Huangyan's face was ashen, still unwilling to believe this fact. Huangyan, who was in a bad mood, was just about to vent his anger on Konoha's other ninjas, but found that the leader of his family began to announce their retreat. Originally, Rock Shinobi wanted to launch a surprise attack this time, but he had no choice but to be discovered in advance. Now that many people have died, they can only retreat first. Huangyan had no choice but to retreat, but he held a breath in his heart, but he couldn't release it no matter what. After two great ninjutsu, he found that the target was gone. What a lie. Where's Minato? After Rock Shinobi retreated, Tsunade found that Minato was not there, and asked in a panic. That kid probably ran back to the camp. He ran into Rock Shinobi's elite ninja Huangyan just now, but seeing Huangyan's panic-stricken look, you can guess that the kid has slipped away. Jiraiya has always been concerned about his disciples, and he also knows about his battle with Wongyun. In the end, he also heard Huangyan's furious roar. After a group of people cleaned up the battlefield, they returned to the camp. In the camp, after seeing Minato, Jiraiya took him to say goodbye to Hitaki and Tsunade, and went back to Konoha. You can do it, kid, but that Huangyan is so angry with you. Walking on the way back to Konoha, Jiraiya smiled and praised her disciple. TCH, I forgot to leave the spell of Flying Thunder God technique on the battlefield, otherwise I wouldn't have run back to the camp. I must continue to fight him for 300 rounds. Minato said indignantly, but he still felt sorry for his development speed. If it wasn't for Wongyun's obstruction, maybe he could kill a Jonin, maybe he could get the second stage of Flying Thunder God. Now I can only go back to the village to practice honestly. This time, there were no supplies with them, and the few people traveled very fast, and returned to Konoha not long after. Along the way, Minato and Makoto didn't show any signs, they looked like Konoha's good teammates. We are disbanded now. I will give you 2 days off. We will gather again the next morning and I will report to Hokage. Jiraiya showed mercy and let the students rest for 2 days. As for Minato's new ninjutsu on the battlefield, he didn't even ask about them. He only thought that they were created by Minato himself. If Minato wanted to talk about it, he would take the initiative to tell him. Everyone has their own secrets, right? Minato and Makoto went to meet Kushina together. As for the relationship between them, it is better not to tell Kushina for the time being. Wait until he grows up a bit, and then become good sisters with Makoto. We will talk about it at that time, and maintain an underground relationship for now. Minato feels exciting when he thinks about it. Love secretly, never thought he would have such a day. Take Makoto to the school and find that Kushina is still in the classroom. Usually Kushina is quite obedient. When Minato is not around, he will be in the school, so every time Minato comes back, he will come to the school to find Kushina. Minato didn't disturb Kushina's class, but went to the big tree in the school with Makoto and waited for Kushina to get out of class. The two sat side by side on the tree trunk, chatting with each other. Minato looked around and found that no one was paying attention to this place, and his heart couldn't help but start to move. Makoto, look over there, it's so strange. At this moment, Minato, the film king, possessed himself, pointing at Makoto's back with a look of surprise, as if there was something very strange. Makoto didn't doubt it, and naturally turned his head to look in the direction Minato pointed, but found that the place was empty. What's up, Minato? There's nothing there, ooh. Looking at the face so close and the touch on the mouth, Makoto didn't know that all of these were Minato's tricks. The first kiss is gone. This was the only thought in Makoto's mind. As for Minato's sneak attack, she didn't care at all, but it was a little sweet. After kissing for a while, Minato quickly let go of Makoto, looked around, found no one, and licked his lips. It was really sweet and sweet. Minato, you are so annoying. Makoto blushed and lowered his head, but his face was full of joy. Where there was no trace of hate, it was just a hard-spoken mouth. Looking at the delicious scene in front of him, Minato couldn't help but kissed Makoto's face again to express his affection for her. Touching his face, Makoto gave a happy smirk. Seeing this, Minato didn't say much. Minato stretched out his hand and held Makoto's hand tightly. You don't have to worry about being discovered. Makoto muttered softly. It's okay, I've been looking around for 4 weeks just now, and no one noticed. Is Makoto shy? Minato chuckled, and said everything without saying a word. No, if it's Minato, I don't mind. Makoto raised his head, looked at Minato seriously and said every word. Minato was very moved when he saw this. He hugged Makoto in his arms, enjoying the short tranquility, and didn't care whether he would be discovered or not. Leaning in Minato's arms, Makoto rarely enjoyed this feeling of peace of mind, silently thinking in his heart, Minato, it's great to have you here. Time passed unknowingly, and the two did not separate, and they kept hugging each other. Jingle bell. A burst of alarm bells sounded, representing the end of get out of class. Minato and Makoto, who were sitting on the tree, were also awakened by the ringtone, separated silently, and then smiled at each other. Let's go to Kushina. Makoto said first. She was very understanding. Minato didn't say much about Minato. It was enough for him to know that Makoto was really thinking for himself. After the two got down from the tree, they walked slowly towards Kushina's classroom. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.